What's going on? Welcome to Dramatic Demonstrations. Come blow up the chat. Let us know where you're from. We're excited to have you guys here. We got some special
What's going on,
stuff.
Everybody?
Yeah, Russell and I got some cool things to share.
I'm so excited for
It's
today.
gonna be fun.
This is going to be a very dramatic-y, demonstration-y day. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so I'm curious, where are you guys from in the world, and why are you wanting to do a dramatic demonstration?
And you want one of these sweet jackets?
I'm not going to lie, this is probably the coolest jacket I've ever seen in my entire life.
What's up? I'm so excited to see all you guys over here in the chat. This is awesome. We're stoked to have you guys here. This is going to be a lot of fun. We have a fun agenda planned out for you guys. We're going to share some cool speeches that we've given in the past.
Yes.
That shaped the world.
In fact, one of these speeches, we've been running Funnel Hacking Live for 9 years now. My favorite time on stage is the presentation we're about to show you guys. It was the very first time we introduced this concept of dramatic demonstrations. The only people who've actually seen it were people who were at Funnel Hacking Live like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you guys get to see it for free. We're not going to charge you anything. We're so excited to kind of give you guys the foundation about what it is, why it is. And like I said, it was one of my most fun, favorite presentations of all time. And that's just one of the two things we're going to be doing today, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're going to start out with what is a dramatic demonstration. You've probably been hearing about it a lot.
I wonder what you guys think it actually is. Maybe we should start that way. And then at the end, you're like, oh, it's actually this. Because some people think, oh, is it a challenge? Is it a webinar? Is it an ad? Like what? I'm curious what you guys think. You probably heard us talk about it, or maybe they haven't heard it at all. Maybe this is like, what are they talking about? Why are they wearing weird jackets? I think the presentation will help. But yeah, I see people posting. So post in the comments, like, what do you guys think it is?
Yeah.
Or what is it for you? Have you ever done, just kind of get ideas? There's a little confusion, it looks like.
Yeah. We're going to clear up a lot for you guys today.
It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do then, as I think we'll cut over to in just a minute, let's watch this. And please get a piece of paper out, take notes. There's 5 steps I'm going to walk through. We're going to share with you guys on stage on what this is. I don't want you to miss them. So 5 things, fill in the blank as we go.
And I want you guys to don't I know you're at home by yourself doing whatever, or you're at your office watching this, but pretend for a minute that you're at Funnel Hacking Live with 5,000 people around you. There's chaos, there's stuff. This is where you're actually pretend like you're experiencing it, and you'll experience it different. The hardest thing we have, showing people videos and stuff later, it's it's hard to feel. It's put yourself, immerse yourself, pretend like you're there, and play all out. If we're asking, if we're telling you to raise your hand, raise your hand, be part of it. If you do that, you'll experience it different than if you're sitting there just hanging out. So be engaged, and I promise you that it'll make the whole experience a million times better.
Yeah, and the biggest takeaways you guys are getting, hit them in the chat also. I'm going to go watch that chat. And
it's fun.
Yeah, I'm going to watch you guys. I'm so excited to see what you're seeing for the first time. I'm actually jealous of the first time epiphanies you guys are about to have. It's going to be fun.
So fun. Should we give a prize? We'll give you a prize. We'll figure out something for the top biggest takeaway. So as you see him, drop in the comments down below. Brian, pumped. Should we show it to him?
Let's do it.
All right, queuing up the very first dramatic demonstrations presentation ever from Funnel Hacking Live. Let's go.
Roll the tape.
I've been thinking about this session for a long time. It's something I've been thinking about and brainstorming about and geeking out on. And it kind of started for me actually, it was probably 4 or 5 months ago. I was going through the Dan Kennedy archives, as I do, and studying all this stuff. And in this one course, it was day 4 of an event, and he had these different segments he was talking about. And one of the segments, probably a 20-minute segment, he talked about this concept of creating dramatic demonstrations. And he said that word, and I was like, ooh, that is so cool. And then I did what every good entrepreneur does, and I stopped, and I ran to GoDaddy and said, dramaticdemonstrations.com. And I'm like, it's available, and I bought it, and I'm like, now we got to do something. I don't know what to do with it, and I was so excited. And in the presentation, Dan was talking about some of the great people in time, old people who had passed away who did these dramatic demonstrations. And I know that Larsen had been also geeking out on this, and so I messaged Steven, and I sent him the thing from Dan, and we started going back and forth, and I don't know, we had so much fun just talking about dramatic demonstrations of people who had passed on, what they'd done to grow their businesses and things like that. And as we got closer and closer to Funnel Hacking Live, I was like, I want to share all the stuff I'm geeking out on with him. I was like, I want to share this with our audience, because this is something so powerful that if you guys start understanding, it's going to amplify and magnify every one of the funnels, every promotion, every campaign you do. And so to begin with, some of you guys know, this is probably my favorite framework that I teach. It is in the .com Secrets book, it's in the Expert Secrets book, it's in the Traffic Secrets book. It's the only framework that made it in every single one, because it is the most important framework that we have as funnel hackers. It's hook, story, offer. And I could do a whole 3-day event just on hook, story, offer. We're not going to do that, but I've told you guys from the very beginning, if something in your business is not working, it's always either the hook, the story, or the offer. If your ad's not working, it's either the hook, the story, or the offer. If your landing page isn't working, it's either the hook, the story, or the offer. Your sales message not working, hook, story, offer. Upsell not working, webinar not working, high-ticket coaching, it's always one of these three things. And so people will pay me insane amounts of money for consulting, and I'll come in, and it's really funny because like, Russell, help me fix my business. And I'll say, let me show me the entire business. And they show me the first page, and they're like, what's wrong with this? I'm like, well, it's either the hook, the story, or the offer. Which one do you think it is? And they're like, well, the hook's pretty good, but the story's kind of lame. I'm like, yeah, we should try that better. And they go to the next page, and they're like, what should I do here? I'm like, well, it's either the hook, the story, or the offer. What do you think it is? And they're like, the offer's not that good. I'm like, yeah. And that's how I consult. So I just gave you guys a $100,000 consulting day. There's my big secret. And so this is my favorite framework. And as Stephen and I were talking about going back and forth and geeking out about this, we realized there's one other step, and it's a step that I haven't ever publicly talked about. It's not something I've ever shared before. But as we started looking at this, it was interesting because we were like, where does this piece fit in? And the piece we're going to talk about today is called a dramatic demonstration. And what's interesting is the dramatic demonstration is actually the thing that launches the hook. It's the thing that gets people excited and anticipation before they even get to the hook, the story, or the offer. And it's just this whole different methodology and mindset that I want to share with you guys. So that's what we're going to talk about today is this concept called dramatic demonstrations. But to do that, I need my partner in crime for this presentation. We've been working our faces off to get this ready for you guys today. I'm so excited. He's actually behind this wall right now, and I need you guys to help me make some noise so we can get him out ready. You guys good with that? Okay, everyone, let's put our hands together for Steve Larsen! Ready for this? Yeah, let's do it. You guys all ready for this? Woo! So much fun. Awesome. So I'm going to turn the first part of this over to Steve because he's got some exciting stuff to set this whole project up for you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to get nerdy. Is that all right? That is all right because nerds get paid. All righty. All right, guys, I'm excited, though. I'm going to go a little faster through this, but I want you to know this whole dramatic demonstration piece is all about traffic getting. Who needs more traffic to the funnels? Woo! Right, this is my favorite way to do it. This is how I do it every time, and I'm excited to share it with you. I want you to know, though, where a lot of this comes from. No one has tomatoes here, right? No one? You in the back? No? All right, sweet. There's no such thing as internet marketing. Okay, thank you. There's marketing that we use the internet to distribute, yeah? Understanding the difference is very key, which is why I like to study these stories of rich dead marketers. They didn't have the internet, they still use marketing, so let's learn what marketing really is. Then the internet becomes an accelerant. Make sense? Cool, so what I'm gonna share with you is 5-part framework. I'm gonna show it to you 3 times. If you write nothing else down, just write these 5 things down, okay? All right, now let's move on forward. Now the purpose of these dramatic demonstrations, this is very key, is to spread the hook, not the offer. Okay? This is one of the biggest mistakes people make with their funnels. You're not walking around doing things pre-page 1 of the funnel, spreading your offer. You're not spreading your sales message. You're spreading the hook, and that's a different thing. Yeah, yeah? Yeah, yeah. Oh, sweet cherry pie. All right, let's go. All righty. Now if you're like, hey, Russell, Steve, where does dramatic demonstrations fit in our funnel? They fit right here. So here's I'm very visual, all right? So I do a lot of pictures. So if you think about it, it's like, all right, we have a dramatic demonstration in front of the funnel. It's everything you're doing pre-page 1 of the funnel. Who here has a funnel? Sweet, this applies to all of you. All righty. Okay, so this is what you're doing before page 1 of the sales funnel. So we know from Russell, hook, story, offer, right? Hook, story, offer. But what are you spreading, again, pre-page 1 of the funnel? It is the hook. It is the boom. All right, so it is the hook. That's what you're doing out there. And it was, again, from these rich dead marketers that I learned these patterns, and I went really, really deep, like so deep. And it was very, very fun. So this is really where I learned it, though, and where it came from. And I like to vox Russell with excitedness a lot and be like, I just learned this crazy nerdy thing. And where this really comes from was one day I started writing every single P.T. Barnum campaign and story and launch that I had ever known or read about. And I wrote them down on a whiteboard. because I was looking for his patterns. How did he launch without the internet, right? How did he go put it out there without having the distribution power that we have today? And so I put them all out on this whiteboard, and a really strong pattern emerged. Would you like to see it in slow-mo? Cool. All righty. All right, so here's the first one. This is how P.T. Barnum used dramatic demonstrations to sell tickets to his museum. Who here has seen the movie Greatest Showman? Such a good movie. Largely false. Okay. What his real career was in this museum. Now, I don't know about you, but how many times do you go to a museum? Exactly. That's why it's so cool to study. So this guy was pretty rich, and he had to get people without the internet to get people to this foot traffic reliant place to get business there just to a museum. So one day, it's a true story. It's this awesome story to go look up. How many of you guys have heard of the story of the Fiji mermaid? A few of you? Some of the fellow nerds love it. Cool. All right, so this is the Fiji mermaid. And in 1842, fishermen caught a mermaid off the coast of Fiji, and they brought it to New York to show it to P.T. Barnum. And P.T. was looking at this thing, and this is towards the beginning of his career. And he looked at this, he goes, oh my gosh, this might bring people to my museum. So he's like, I'm going to bring this, I'm going to bring this to my museum, and hopefully it gets foot traffic to my museum. But I'm going to do it really dramatically. So what he did is he went and he grabbed a whole bunch of naturalists, and he started firing them until one of them would say it's a real mermaid. Okay? Don't do that, okay? FTC didn't exist, all right? All right? All right, but if you'll notice, though, I'm going to start putting this 5-part pattern up in the top right corner. So the first step he does is he gets credibility, which is what you're going to want to do for your offer or anything you launch, all right? Second thing he did is he started leaking letters to the press. This is in New York City. Leaking letters on purpose to the press between him and a doctor as to the realness of this mermaid. Do you think this is a real mermaid? Oh, yeah, this is a real mermaid. I'm typing. They're writing, sorry. This is a real mermaid. Yeah, no, this is definitely a real mermaid. And they were purposely leaking them around the vicinity of the press to go, oh, my gosh, this is real. What they didn't know is that, so as they leaked him around, that was actually his associate. Again, do not pose to be a doctor. You're going to lose everything. You'll die in a gutter. It'll be awful. Okay? Again, no FTC. Just look at the principle. So he goes and has these letters back and forth with his doctor. And this is a key step, though, is he starts to inform mass media that something is coming. It is the wrong move to finish your funnel yesterday and dramatically demonstrate it tomorrow. You're not going to, it doesn't work that way. So he informs and preps the minds of mass media. Third step, he sends this doctor over to Philadelphia. Doctor, okay? And it was a very specific, highly researched hotel. So he goes to this hotel, and he says, hey, I want you to go over to this hotel, and I want you to show the mermaid to this very specific landlord. He's like, all right. So he goes and he checks into this hotel, and he's like, please share with me this amazing mermaid that I hear so much about, and let me bring my friends. Well, all the landlord's friends were editors. And so in Philadelphia, all the press, insert mwahaha, okay? So all of these editors in Philadelphia start writing about it now and going, oh my gosh, is your Fiji mermaid, Fiji mermaid. Notice he wants the launch to happen in New York. Okay, he's creating buzz in another place. A lot of principles here. Okay, so step number 3, involve other influencers. Step number 4, while that's happening, he finally approaches the traffic he can control. And so what he does is he litters, I censored because this is a family show. Those are the pictures of the yeah. I'm a goofball, I always will be. All right, so, and it says man-while as well. So meanwhile, I got D's in all English. Meanwhile, P.T. Barnum distributed 10,000 pamphlets in New York City saying, guess what? The Fiji mermaid is going to be in my museum, but only for this 1 week. He doesn't say it's available all the time. Another key lesson. So he sends the hook to traffic that he can control or own. All right. The final kill shot in this whole thing is he invites every single newspaper in New York to cover this event. The mermaid's coming to my museum. Every single newspaper comes, every single newspaper covers the story, and his career takes off and explodes. Okay, so the 5th step of that is he finally goes, remember he warmed up mass media, He's going back to them and saying, remember I told you I was going to do that thing? I did that thing. And they all come back and they cover the story. And he takes over and hijacks mass media that way. Yeah? Oh, give me a sweet cherry pie. That's awesome. Sweet cherry pie. That's some good stuff. Okay, now I want you to think about this. By comparison, what kind of dramatic demonstration did you make on your last funnel release? Yeah, I heard wah wah, right? Think about that. Is it in, oh, Russell, am I really one funnel away? Yes! Are you really one demonstration away? Probably not. It's going to take a lot of demonstrations to that one funnel, okay? So I want you to think about this also. The last time I went and put a funnel out and it was dramatic, was it dramatic or did you launch apologetically? And this is a curse that I see and I'm trying to rid us of it. Okay, how many guys sell something that is better than the majority of the market that you serve? Right? All hands should be up, right? So don't be apologetic. Be dramatic. Right? That's why Russell called it the moral obligation to sell. That last chapter in Expert Secrets. It is your moral obligation. If you truly do what it is that you say you do, don't be apologetic. You be dramatic. You be loud. You get that attention. Yeah? Oh, sweet cherry pie. Alrighty. I love this quote, though. He says, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing. Such a good quote. It's awesome. Alrighty. That was the slow-mo version. Can I go fast-mo? All right, let's go fast-mo. All right, here's another example. In 1882, Queen Victoria sold Jumbo, their national treasure, to P.T. Barnum. This elephant was gigantic. It was senile. It was actually drunk a lot of the times. And they sold it. She got a lot of flack for selling it to P.T. Barnum. And sold it to him for the equivalent of $500,000 in our time today. And step number one, credibility. Might just be working with someone credible. A queen counts. All right. Step number two, he informs, again, right, mass media that something's coming. This is the first elephant in America. No one had ever brought an elephant to America at this time. And so what he does is he goes and gets people excited, and this huge crowd follows him. And this thing is 20% larger than today's biggest elephants. It really was big. Fascinating, the follow-up story on that whole thing. But record-breaking crowds follow him as he greets this elephant at the docks, and they walk it down the streets. Until tragedy struck. Shortly after that, in 1883, about a year, not even a year later, the Brooklyn Bridge was finished. And the Brooklyn Bridge was the largest suspension bridge in the world at that time. And so people were really, really afraid to go on this thing. This was the largest feat that we had ever built as, modern humanity. And so people were afraid to go on this thing. And so what's fascinating about this is this is awful, the public was finally able to go on this bridge. This true story all about the Brooklyn Bridge. People were able to go up into this bridge, and someone tripped and pushed the person in front of them, and it caused this stampede, and lots of people were trampled to death. Not awesome, okay? This is actually an article from New York Times about that in 1883. And what's interesting is PT was like, well, what if I walk my elephant across that to demonstrate the strength of the Brooklyn Bridge because no one wanted to use it anymore? So he did. And they're like, you know what? We need to get someone to, because no one would get on this Brooklyn Bridge anymore, even though it was this large, engineering feat. So he doesn't just go across with one. That guy got 21 elephants and 17 camels. See, that guy went big. And they walked across the Brooklyn Bridge, demonstrating its strength, getting him tons of traffic to his museum. And he gets really dramatic traffic again. Yeah? You guys seen the pattern? Where's the internet in that? Nowhere! But I need a list. No, you don't! I'm going to smash that one later, all right? So what I'm going to do is look at these 5 pieces here. So step number 1, just in case you didn't see them in the top right, he always gets credibility for the offer prior to marketing it. Right? If you need to get social proof, get social proof. Just get it. Prove that it works. Get credibility somehow. Number 2, inform mass media somehow that it's coming. I got something coming. How many things behind the scenes do we see of Russell with Instagram going, working on something cool, you won't see it in a year. Working on something cool, you won't see it in a year. Working on something cool, right? He's warming us up. I got something coming. Don't waste that time. Okay? Number 3, he involves somehow bigger influencers, people that are also influencers that have their own audience, and starts to get them in. Then and only then does he do number 4, which is approach the traffic he controls. But wait a second, that's how most of us start. I got an idea. Email, email, email. This is step 4 for him. Does that make sense? Someone find some gold and let go of it. That was awesome. Alrighty. Number 5, what he does is he goes back to mass media and said, I told you I'd do it. Now I got credibility. I told you I was going to. I've got other influencers. Look, these other people are excited about that as well. Check it out. Now go talk about me and all your mass media stuff. Fascinating pattern, yeah? So what we wanted to do is, and remind you again, without promotion, something terrible happens, which is, again, nothing. If your funnel's done, you're not done. You're just starting marketing, okay? So what we'd like to give is, if you may not know this, P.T. Barnum was actually the second millionaire in America. And contrary to what Hollywood said.
The first millionaire is actually a drug dealer.
Yeah.
So, and he's number 2.
Number 2, let's celebrate number 2. We'd like to give P.T. Barnum.
Yes, an honorary 2 Comma Club award. What do you think about that? Yeah? Hey, Todd, are you back there? Do you have a 2 Comma Club award we can give to P.T. Barnum?
Yeah, Miles, where's PT? Bring PT up here.
Here's P.T.
There he
Barnum.
is! PT Barnum, everybody!
P.T.
Oh my
Barnum.
gosh, look at the man!
Oh, the man is here himself.
We need
Come on.
Let's give him one.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
You want to get a touch? That's all, get out.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll carry him back. I'll bring PT with me.
Okay.
We'll go hang out backstage.
All right,
Who here thinks we should start an honorary every year, introduce a new, amazing marketer who's passed away into the 2 Comma Club? That'd be amazing. So PT is the first, which is a big deal. But there's so many amazing stories of people like this who didn't have the tools we have nowadays and built amazing businesses. One of my favorites, this is a picture right here of one of my people I look up to. This is a guy named Farmer Burns. And he was a wrestler back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And he was famous for being a wrestler, but also a wrestling coach, wrestling trainer. And he also developed the very first ever mail order course. And this is actually a picture of the course right here. I found a few originals on eBay, which is amazing. And back in the day, back in the 1914s when this course came out, you would buy it, and every single month you'd get this, you'd get the first lesson in the mail. Next month you get the next one, the next one. He was doing these promotions, right? But how in the world do you promote a wrestling course in 1914? It's not easy, right? So if you look on the picture on the left, this is what he did. It's kind of hard to see that picture, but Martin Burns, he was famous for having a huge neck. He would do these neck bridges, and he taught it in the wrestling course here. He would do neck bridges like crazy, where his neck was huge. In fact, I found one picture of him, I forgot to put in the slides, but he's doing a neck bridge, and 2 of his kids are standing on his chest while he's doing a full neck bridge. That's how strong his neck was. So what he would do to promote his course and himself as a wrestler and a coach, he would travel around the country, going to all the county and the city fairs. They would go and they'd set him up on a big hangman's noose, where they have the wood floor, and they stand up, they put the rope around his neck, and they'd hang it, and then the floor would drop, and he'd goom. Now what happens to most human beings when they get dropped 6 feet from a hangman's drop? Their neck breaks and they die. Okay, not Farmer Burns. He'd sit there, he'd hold it, and then he'd whistle Yankee Doodle Dandy. Okay, he did this thousands of times across the country to promote himself, his business, his marketing, and his wrestling course. And so these kind of things are like what we're talking about. How do you create these dramatic demonstrations to get people engaged and interested in the things that you're doing? And we're going to show you guys a bunch of case studies today of just things that we've done in the past that hopefully inspire you guys about ways to actually promote your funnels and get more attention for them.
It's awesome.
So
I don't know if I'm going to try that one.
I've been working on it.
For example, here's my neck.
It's getting bigger.
Man, look at that baby face. All right. Whew. It's the only picture I could find with this calendar in the back. Once upon 6 years ago. I remember asking you, Russell, what do you put on your calendar? And without thinking, Russell said, oh, events and launches. And I remember thinking, how come no one else does that? That's a powerful concept to be able to do that. So,
these aren't little calendars, by the way. It's the entire wall of my office is this one huge calendar, as you see.
Yes, a giant calendar. And so this taught me that unplanned revenue equals the likelihood of no revenue. All right, so these are pictures. Hopefully it's okay if I share everyone's calendar with you.
So I've been doing the last 5 years, you guys. Now you know.
These are pictures of Russell's calendars. It's like, look, here's how he's planning out only events and launches. And these are not his personal calendar. This is a marketing calendar. This is a dramatic demonstration calendar. And so I started doing the same thing several years ago. And it's funny, every time I feel my wallet getting a little light, it's because I can look at this calendar and realize, oh, I haven't been planning anything. Why should I expect the wallet to be heavy? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet cherry pie.
I want some pie right now.
I don't know why. Anyway. But this is a big one, though. Right? This is a big one of Russell's. And think about that elephant example, marching the elephants across. That took him 2 years to plan. That was active planning involved. That happened in May. He's stretching himself thin across lots of months trying to plan this thing. Okay? But that's the point, is dramatic demonstrations take planning. They take time. And having a calendar there is a superpower for you. So can I give you guys a challenge?
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be one day. It'll be one moment, not 30 days. Okay? Ready? You need to have a physical wall calendar near you. And you need to use it to plan out all your dramatic demonstrations as far in advance as possible. And you might be thinking, Steve, Russell, I'll just use my personal calendar. No, you won't, because that's your personal calendar. Sound good? Sound good? Sound good? I love repeating myself. It's so nice. You might be thinking to yourself, Steve, Russell, oh my gosh, I don't have a physical wall calendar. Buy one.
They're on Amazon, by the way. That's where I order mine, and they ship them to you. They'll be home before you get home.
Yeah,
They're
they'll beat
amazing.
you.
2022 wall calendar. That's it. Amazon. Boom.
You might be thinking to yourself, hey, Steve, Russell, I don't have a wall. Liar. Okay? Get one. Okay?
Y'all have a wall.
Yeah. So besides looking at like where this principle is in past history, I want to show you some more examples of what it does in the present and where you can see it happening. Okay? So these are other things that it gives you. I'm a huge Kevin Hart fan. I think he's awesome. He's the man. Kevin Hart's awesome. He was the first actor, though, to be collecting first comedian to be collecting an email list for 5 or 6 years. He'd do stand-up comedy every single night and say, you guys want more of my jokes? Cool, go to blah, blah, blah.com, put your email in, and I'll send you more of my jokes. Well, he did this every night for 5 or 6 years, and he was the first person to ever get hired by Hollywood, get paid by Hollywood, and then go, hey, by the way, I got an audience, you're going to pay me again so I can go promote you. Genius, right? It's awesome, right? Now what do they all do? That, right? Dramatic demonstrations build a list. Russell, Steve, I don't have a list. It's because you haven't done a dramatic demonstration. It's the other way around. They give you a list in the action of doing it. Yeah. Make sense?
Yep.
Here they go. Tony Robbins did 240 podcast interviews about one of his books before it was ever released. What does that give him? Why would that work? It works because they generate interest in the offer before it's ever there, right? And the excitement of that. We started that Expert Secrets book funnel 2 days before it went live, but it's because the previous 2 months were spent promoting the fact that it was out. Does that make sense?
It was longer than 2 months prior, but yes.
But it was a lot, right? It's like, yeah.
A whole bunch ahead of time.
Super, yeah. Tesla sold the world on their incredibly dumb-looking Cybertruck before it was started. I read in a book, and it's pure science, that's a truck. Anyway, but you see what they did? They went out. It's not even out still, right? I mean, I don't see them around. I mean, for good reason. Look at it. But dramatic demonstrations, Elon Musk, if you ever see this, I love you. Let's hang out. Dramatic demonstrations ensure that your idea is even good before you put it out. Who wants to waste months or years putting a product out, building it behind the scenes, not even knowing if anyone wants it? That's risk. I'm very risk adverse in that way. Hollywood sends their actors out on tour, right? And what's powerful is most, if not all, their money is recouped during this release, their product or movie release. They make all their money back and recoup the cash that way. MCs, same thing. Think of an MC. Dramatic demonstrations are basically the hype man for your funnel. Okay, they're the hype man for the funnel. That's what happens ahead of time. If there was no Devon, Russell and I would suck up here, right? Just kidding.
He sets the way.
He sets the way, right? But there's an important principle behind that, though. They're getting an excitement for the main event altogether. You want to tell us about that one time about Expert Secrets?
Yeah. So how many of you guys remember when we launched the very first viral video we did with the Harmon brothers? How many of you guys remember that? So just so you know, Harmon Brothers are not cheap. In fact, the cost for the cost up front for them to make this video was $500,000, which is like, whew, first time you write a check for $500,000 for a 3-minute video, you're like, is this a good idea? This seems really dumb. I hope my wife doesn't find out. Anyway, so, but it got done. They're like, hey, the video's done. Like, do you guys want to go like use it? And I'm like, well, it seems so anticlimactic. Like, I got to make some noise because I got to make sure things don't flop because we spent $500,000 on this thing. And so I was like, well, what do we do? What do we do? And I didn't have the verbiage at the time to say we should do a dramatic demonstration, which now you all have. But I was like, we got to do something. We got to make this thing big. And so we put on a launch event, a dramatic demonstration, which is where our nude squirrels came from, for those who know that backstory. If not, well, that's the story for another day. All right, so this is what we did. We decided to launch a YouTube video. So just, again, this isn't even a whole offer. Like, this was us to launch a video on YouTube. We put on a dramatic demonstration. What we did is a couple things. Number one, we rented out the Boise State football stadium, which those of you guys who know Boise State football stadium, we're famous for the Smurf turf, right? So it was all blue. It was amazing. So we rented out the Boise State football stadium. Prior to that, we wrote down a list of 400 of the biggest stars and channels on YouTube. And you were here for this. I sat in my car for
400 times.
for like almost a day with a little video camera, like, hey, what's up, Mr. Beast? My name is Russell Brunson. I want to invite you to a blah, 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 blah. Click.
But you were like getting out your car halfway through the script, so I saw him get out of his car 400
Hey, how's it going,
times.
man?
What's up? I'm just getting out of my car. What's up? Get out of my car.
400 times. Who's ever made 400 videos in a day, back to back, back to back to back to back? It was exhausting.
I was impressed.
But I wanted to make sure this was going to work, so I had to get to work. So we did 400 videos, and then from there, and again, 400 personalized videos, and then we went and we built 400 separate pages on the funnel, one for every single influencer. We sent those out to every single one, right? So now I'm like, okay, we're having a big party at Boise State. We got 400 huge influencers we've invited to this huge party. What's next? Well, what's next? As long as we have 400 people in the room, we should try to set a world record, because how do you get cool people to show up? You got to do cool things. So I asked Dave if he could call around and find out what it would look like for us to win a Guinness Book of World Records for the largest bubble soccer game of all time. And so he called around, found out that we needed to have at least 100 people playing a full bubble soccer game. And so then we're like, cool, let's get 100 bubble soccer balls. But that's not an easy task either. We had to source bubble soccer balls from 5 different states to go and fly them all to Boise, Idaho, to be on the Smurf turf for this event. So we did the viral video launch party. Then we put on these bubble soccer balls, and we played the biggest game of bubble soccer in the history of the world. And everybody who was there that night had a chance to become a Guinness Book of World Record holder, which was kind of cool. And then we also paid Gary Vee to come out and do a Gary Vee presentation, which was really, really fun. He made fun of Josh Forty in front of all of us. We all made fun. It was really funny as well. And that's what we did to launch a YouTube video.
One video.
Okay? And then that video went viral and made us a whole bunch of money, but people knew about it, right? It wasn't just like, oh, here's a video set it live. Hopefully it does something good. It's like, no, I'm not going to hope for anything. I'm going to blow this thing up. We're going to light it on fire. How do we do that? We created a dramatic demonstration to get people to talk, to get people to notice. We had 400 influencers in that room who were all tweeting the video, sharing it, posting pictures of them playing bubble soccer with the nude squirrels and the prospectors, and like we had the characters of the video come. Like, it was a huge thing that created a whole bunch of noise. So when that video came into the world, it had this platform to push it off into the world with.
I got nervous when we put the nude squirrels in the men's bathroom after that.
You ever come to ClickFunnels?
They're just pictures of
there.
squirrels. It's hilarious.
It's cool.
It's so
okay,
funny.
so I want to show you guys, I think the next, oh yeah. With that, okay. So I want to show you guys the dramatic demonstrations that we did prior to the Expert Seekers book launch. Because I think a lot of you guys probably saw this. This was, how many years ago now? 4 years ago?
4, something.
We launched the Expert Seekers book. And most of you guys see a funnel and email come out like, oh, cool, Russell launched his book. But there's a lot that went into that ahead of time. Layers of dramatic demonstrations. So I'm going to walk you guys through kind of the different steps so you can see them. Because I'm showing you these things like, I'm hoping that you're going to pick things like, oh, I should do that, I could do that, I could do that, and start getting ideas for you to start layering on these dramatic demonstrations for your campaigns. Okay, so when we first launched the Expert Seekers book, prior to launching it, just like P.T. Barnum, 4 or 5 months prior, I started the process. Okay, now I'm not a blogger, but I started a blog at the time, and I said, I'm going to blog this whole journey. So week number 1 was calling my shots. I said, my goal is to sell 1 million copies of my new book, and I'm going to take you guys on the journey. And I sent that out to my list of promotions. We got everyone, and everyone's like, you're writing a book? Nobody even knew. This is how I launched the campaign, was this call my shot. This is what we're going to do. This is where we're going with this whole process. Okay, I'm writing this book, and we're going to try to sell 100,000 copies. Okay, and I started this weekly blog to start documenting my journey. okay? So then week number 2, then I did the second step in the process, which is assembling the Dream 100. So all my team got in a room, and we sat down, and you can see here's the pad of paper, and we started writing down who's the Dream 100 in every single industry we can get to gather to be part of this book promotion. Okay, P.T. Barnum did getting other influencers in, same thing we did. Who are the other influencers we need to be part of this? So it's not just me yelling into the wind about my book, I want to get everybody yelling about the book. So step number 2 was assembling the Dream 100. Okay, and then after we found out who these people were, we started sending them stuff. Okay, one of the things we sent them out was this Avengers comic book. We made a whole video, we showed it at Funnel Hacking Live 4 or 5 years ago, a whole animated video showing this Avenger thing and how ClickFunnels was saving the world from Confusionsoft and other terrorists and enemies, and it was really awesome. And then we made a whole comic book out of it, and we sent this comic book to the Dream 100 just as a gift to kind of open up some conversation, saying, hey, there's something cool is coming real quick, but here's a really cool gift. Okay, and then we started sending these Dream 100 people packages. Okay, and I didn't have the screenshots from the Expert Secrets packages, but these are the screenshots of the packages when I did the .com Secrets book. Okay, after the book was done, first thing I did is I sent a copy of the book and a t-shirt to everyone in my Dream 100 just so they could get the book in their hands. I wanted influencers seeing it and reading and looking through it before I had a chance to promote it. And then we decided to give away my Ferrari. I'm not a car guy. I won this Ferrari, just sat in the garage for a long time, and I was like, if I'm going to sell a book, I might as well give away a Ferrari. That's dramatic.
Might as well.
And so I took a picture of this Ferrari, and I said, okay, I'm going to give away, whoever sells the most books, you get a free Ferrari, which is a great hook for affiliates, by the way. They were really excited. So we sent that out. But then I'm like, okay, well, they're like, just so you know, influencers have a very short attention span, like gnats. I'm like, I need to remind them that this is happening. So we went on eBay and Amazon and everywhere we could find, and we found 400 of these little Ferrari keychains, and we ended up sending these keychains out to all the Dream 100 people like a couple weeks later. And then a couple weeks later, we sent them out a letter with a $20 bill because we were paying out $20 commission for every book we gave out. And so these mails kept getting people, so my influencers kept getting these things in the mail saying, Russell's launching a book. Oh, I could win a Ferrari. Here's a keychain about a Ferrari. Some people we send like actual physical like mini Ferraris in the mail. And then we sent out these things just letting people know like this is coming, start talking about it. And then what happened is all these influencers started like bragging, I got Russell's book. Ooh, chapter 3 is so cool. And they all started talking. The noise and the buzz started happening.
And people were mad that they didn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
Like they started, where's my book? You know,
how come I'm not on the list? Like, I'm sorry.
Getting that buzz going, warming up that media.
So good. Okay, that's week number 2. Now week number 3, start moving into the next thing where I'm talking about, like, I finished the book, I finally got it, I submitted it to the publisher. And then I was like, well, the book's done, I wanted to like do something cool. And so I literally, and some of you guys were in the room for this, at the time, Funnel Hacking Live was like 4 weeks away. This was crazy. We had just moved to our new office, and I emailed, or I voxed all of my inner circle members at the time saying, hey, I just finished my book, I'm gonna do an event next week, teaching this stuff, who wants to come? And they all freaked out, and a week later, we did a 3-day event called, it was the very first ever Funnel Hackathon, where I went and taught all the principles of the book. I did this for a couple reasons. Number one, I wanted to teach it, but I wanted to get the video clips of me teaching different pieces so we could turn those into ads and videos and promotions. Plus, now I had the top tier of my mastermind group who all were just taught my book at their feet. I taught them, right? And now and they're going crazy online, like, this is amazing, Russell taught this and this, and they started talking about it, created more buzz, created more dramatic demonstration. Okay? From there, I can't remember why I put this picture. Oh, this is Funnel Hacking Live 2 weeks later. Same thing. I started teaching the principles from the book here at Funnel Hacking Live in front of the audience. So before the book was done, I'm teaching these sessions so people see what's coming. They're getting excited, creating more anticipation. I'm talking about it on the podcast, all sorts of places I'm talking about it, right?
I really like on this one too, where you're like, hey, look, watch me. He's calling a shot right here. He's like, check this out. Join me as I go sell 1 million copies of the book. Hopefully it happens, you know, but he's like, come on with me and do this. He's calling the shot. He's saying, this is where I'm going. Follow me. I love that part of it.
So cool.
So many people joined in with that.
Yeah. And then here, as I'm recording the audiobook, it's not just I record an audiobook and don't tell anybody. I'm making a big deal out of it. That's a dramatic demonstration. I'm in studio. This is what's happening. I'm talking about Instagram, on Facebook. I'm showing the things. I'm like, who wants a copy of the audiobook? And people are blowing me up, and I'm leaking copies of different chapters of the audiobook to people, and they're like, I listened to chapter 1. It's so cool. Creating noise, creating buzz, creating excitement. Okay? These are all things happening as we're leading up to this book launch. Okay? Then I got invited to Dean Graziosi and Joe Polish's $100,000 group. I go there and I teach the principle from the book. All these people are hearing about, they're freaking out. I'm getting the video clips of that, and I'm leaking it out to the internet. Right? So they're happening there. And then this was one of the fun ones. When this book was coming out, everyone's like, well, give me a copy, and I didn't have a copy back yet. So we took the entire book and we printed it on blank paper. So you see Dave holding it here. There's no words on this entire book. It's just the cover. So I took that, I sent it out to all 400 influencers on my Dream 100 list, my Dream 400 list. And it was just a blank book. And what's so funny is I started getting people messaging me, dude, I got your book. I started reading it. It's so good.
This is awesome.
I was like,
You're lying.
Wasn't out.
I know who's
Gotcha.
telling the truth and not, because there are no words in that book. It was just a blank book. Other people were so excited they opened it, and they're like on Instagram and Facebook, doing Facebook like, I got Russell's book. Oh crap, there's no words yet. He's telling me wrong, when they're all freaking out. People message, like it was just,
It's
but again,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
leading up.
I was crying, tears of joy.
Tears of joy
The
were
marketing
coming out.
god smiled that day.
From there, after that, I was like, we had some of the pages done, so I took the first, I think the first 3 or 4 chapters, and we put it together a campaign. And so then I made a little mini version of the book. It was just the first 4 chapters, printed them out. I had a big sticker on the front saying, by the way, this is not the real book. Don't think it's this mini. And I sent that out to the 400 people. Now they had a chance to read the first couple chapters. But they keep getting these messages and these things in the mail over and over and over again, finding out about it. I sent them letters about the launch coming up. And then I went back to our own audience. What, step 4, right?
Yeah, yep.
Step 4, I went to our own audience. Like, hey guys, this book's coming out. Who here wants to get the first 3 chapters, the PDF version? And back then we were doing many chats, so I made a bunch of videos and said, just, here's the video here. Put the video in, link down below, and we'll send you out a link. And we built a list of, I can't believe what that list was, 15, 16,000 people.
It's crazy.
Who got the audio chapters, or the PDF version of the first 4 chapters before the book even came out. Okay? From there, then I said, man, I should dress up like Batman because I'm a little kid.
We should, yeah.
With the Batman suit.
So, yeah, he's awesome.
I'm gonna keep going. So we bought a Batman suit right here, and then made a video of me dressing up like Batman. And so here's a clip of this part of the video I'll show you. Quick.
All right, just kidding, it's Russell.
So I sent that video to everyone, and then guess what? I bought a whole bunch of Batman suits, and I told all the top 10 affiliates, you win. I'm gonna get you a custom fit Batman suit you can wear just like I wore. And what's funny is all the top 10 affiliates who won, only one of them actually wanted the suit, and it was Dan Henry. Everyone else was like, I don't want it.
Wherever
But Dan
you are.
Henry and me
Yeah,
had the
where-
2 Batman suits in this industry, so wherever you're at, Dan, it was amazing. Then we sat down, we mapped out the funnel, which was like not just a funnel, but there's a funnel plus a funnel stack, plus there's a whole thing. We mapped out the entire funnel, what it was gonna look like. And keep going because we're running out of time. And then we sat down, we filmed the video for the launch to build the funnels out, and then I started doing interviews. Before the book came out, I did interviews with Tony Robbins, with Grant Cardone, as many people as I could. I took a virtual book tour to get my message out there before the book even came. Okay? And again, I'm gonna go a little faster on this. The way we did it is basically, we did a virtual book tour. I would go on some like Tony Robbins' page. We do the interview together, and then I would go, we'd get into their advertising account, and I would buy ads. I'd spend my money to promote the interview to Tony's page, and then he also got affiliate commissions. Does that make sense? So all these people, I would say, hey, let's do an interview on your page, and then give me access to your ads account. I will spend my money to promote it, and then you'll get affiliate commissions from it. So it was a huge win-win for them.
That's awesome.
And we did probably 100 or so of these interviews leading up to it. And then eventually the book came out, and in the middle of the book launch, we sold 20,000 copies. I decided to change the name of the book in the middle of it, which required another dramatic demonstration. So we changed the name of the book, did another one. And then during the launch, as people got pictures, and we started promoting the pictures and posting them out there, letting people see all these amazing people that were reading the book and what they got from it. After the funnel went through, we found out that we were making $32 average cart value. So we went back to the affiliates and said, how about this? I'm going to guarantee you every free book you give away, I'll give you $20. So I sent all the affiliates a $20 bill in the mail, along telling them that, and then we did a whole week where every affiliate got $20 for every book they sold. Sold even more, right? The affiliate wars started happening. People gave away bonuses. We sold tons of books. And then I'm like, in the middle of this launch, like, we should do another dramatic demonstration. And so Howard Berg, who's actually in the room right now, Howard Berg is the world's fastest reader. He is a rock star. I was like, Howard, do you want to fly out to Boise? Let's give Howard a round of applause. Woo! It's amazing. I said, Howard, fly to Boise. You're the world's fastest reader. Do you want to read Expert Secrets live in front of everybody? And then I'm going to quiz you afterwards. And so he read the entire book in like 4.5 minutes.
Crazy.
And then I was like, okay, let me ask you questions. And like, he knew the answer to every question I asked. It was insane, and sold so many books. Okay? And they kept going. After that, me and Steven did an Expert Secrets Masterclass, a live 3D event to sell the book live virtually. They kept going and going and going. And that was to sell my free plus shipping book. Are you guys getting this now? All right, that's a dramatic demonstration.
Fast mode. Let's go some fast mode. One more example of this. One that we're doing right now is a challenge where we're like, hey, we're going to show you guys how to use content to get leads. And so people are like, all right, if dramatic demonstration's purpose is to spread the hook, not the message, not the offer. Remember that. What does that mean? Well, a quick example of that is on this page right here. It's like, hey, is this for me? And I'm saying on here, I can't read that, but it's like, look, are you sick of Sucker's bad platform for your contents right now. Are you tired of? Anyway, then click right here, right? So anything we're doing in front of our funnels is a dramatic demonstration. So on a value ladder, you can see right here, dramatic demonstrations ascend customers up the ladder. So you think of it, dramatic demonstration leads to a funnel. Cool, you like that funnel? Come to the next one, right? So you're at the end of each funnel, bringing someone to the next one. It's how you ascend people between funnel to funnel to funnel to funnel in your value ladder. Make sense? Dealio. All right, I love this
one more I'm going to show
also.
you guys in the last 42 seconds, which should be fun. FHL. Every year I get 5,000 or 6,000 of you guys to come in a room, and it is not a little process. And so you'll notice throughout the month, throughout the year leading up to Funnel Hacking Live, we're doing dramatic demonstrations to keep popping sales. How many of you guys got one of these little bags in the mail leading up to Funnel Hacking Live? Yeah. So we took all 17,000 people who had ever come to Funnel Hacking Live in the past, and we sent them this mail, right? And then they got this, like, what is Russell sending me? And they opened it up, and inside was a letter talking about NFTs. What does NFTs have to do with Funnel Hacking Live? Not much. But we made it, right? Because it's all about finding like what is a hook that you can do a dramatic demonstration about. So NFTs are hot. Tom Bill used tonight doing a late night session talking about NFTs, which is gonna be so cool. And so I was like, we need to make a dramatic demonstration about that hook because the hook is hot right now, right? So I sent these packages out in the mail. We started emailing the list of people who come in the past. We did this whole thing because we created NFTs for every single Funnel Hacking Live that happened, right? And then I did a dramatic demonstration. How many of you guys came to that dramatic demonstration? Virtually? Okay. Notice I did it at like midnight. I was like, everyone does webinars at 3 in the morning. If I want to be dramatic and get people in, we got to do a midnight webinar. So at midnight, I went live to the world, and I talked about NFTs, right? And I showed you guys that every FHL you've come to, you have a chance to get an NFT. And so I talked about the very first FHL. This is the first NFT. And then I showed the after movie of FHL, the very first one, and everybody watched it. And then we gave them the NFT. And I did the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and the sixth one, and the seventh one, all the way up to this one. And what was crazy is we had, I think, 1,000 people at midnight watching this dramatic demonstration. They literally had to watch 7 promo videos for Funnel Hacking Live in a row, and then we gave them their NFTs, and then what I do? Sold tickets to Funnel Hacking Live. Okay? What a cool way to get people to sell tickets to come back in, is creating a dramatic demonstration like that. All right, I think I pass it back over to you now.
Sounds good. We good?
We're great.
Yeah, we're good? You guys good? I got one more story. We're good? All right, we're going to go for it. All right, this is, you guys remember Greatest Showman? Remember Jenny Lynn? I hated in that movie when they alluded to the fact they might have had an affair. That was not true at all. P.T. Barnum was wildly, he's very committed to his wife. So P.T. Barnum is like, hey, I need to get Jenny Lynn over here. This is a time in his career when he's like, I want to get known to be a little bit less hoaxy. So I'm going to bring someone in very famous. Jenny Lynn was already retired in Europe, and he said, hey, Jenny, how about I go and watch the steps? 5 steps, top right corner, okay, watch them. Okay, first he gets credibility for the offer. That might be working with someone credible, right? So he asked Jenny Lynn, hey, look, I think you're going to be a huge attraction in the US. Why don't you come over here? I'll sell tickets to your shows. Win-win. Well, he's excited about this. He tells people, look, I'm going to go bring Jenny Lynn. I'm going to bring Jenny Lynn. And he's walking down the street, and this doorman goes to open the door for him. And he's like, I'm going to bring Jenny Lynn. And this doorman goes, who's Jenny Lynn? And he goes, oh. And the equivalent is like $4 million in our time that he was in debt now. And he realized he was bringing a nobody. How many of you guys have a brand new offer and no one's heard of it yet, but it's good? Okay, same situation. Watch how he solves it, right? What he does is he goes, oh crap, I'm in so much debt over this. Okay, so what he does is so second thing he does is he informs mass media that she's coming. He has Jenny Lynn literally stand on the docks and give a farewell speech. I read a lot of stuff. I don't think it was even on the docks. She just gave a farewell speech in Europe simply so PT could run the story about it in America. Brilliant. Okay. Then what he does is he goes and he says to the docks that will be receiving Jenny, hey, I need Jenny Lynn swag. I need Jenny Lynn bakery goods. That's a list of stuff that I found that are Jenny Lynn. They called it Lindomania. They created so much Jenny Lynn stuff, it drove her nuts. But seriously. Number 4 is then he goes out and he hires 40 reporters to literally create Jenny Lynn as an icon and an attractive character in America, literally while she's on the ship coming to America. No one had ever heard of her before. No one had heard her sing. And so this works so well. 40 reporters creating this whole persona in the media that 30,000 people greeted her at the docks. 20,000 followed her to her hotel room, which would scare the crap out of me. Right? And they sold out concert after concert after concert. Then one fateful day, Jenny's like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of being marketed like crazy. I'm going to break this up. She starts drinking her own Kool-Aid. Anyway, starts drinking her own Kool-Aid. She goes, I'm fresh to death on my own. I'll go out on my own. Direct quote. And it was not. All right. She just got tired of being so marketed like crazy. And so she cuts the tour in half at around show 90-ish. And she says, I'm going to go out on my own. But what most people don't know is that she actually had a hard time filling a single concert after that. Wait a second. You guys ready for the big point? Yeah. The big point? You got to point at me when I say it. Ready for the point? Yeah. Steven, give me the big point. Right, ready? Here's the big point. It's this. You'll remember it with weird stuff. Big point. All right, it's not Jenny Lynn's voice that was selling those concerts. AKA, your offer is not why they're showing up. Okay, what it is her voice, right? Her voice is not the reason for all the success. What it was P.T. Barnum's consistent, dramatic demonstrations, and as soon as that stopped, so did the revenue. Okay, does that make sense? Big point. So you got to be doing these dramatic demonstrations to fill those funnels up. After your funnel's built, the majority of your time should be spent on making noise. Okay, spreading the hook, not the message and not the offer. Capiche?
All right, you guys, the biggest thing we want to explain is you guys spend so much time and energy and effort creating products and services and funnels that literally can change the world for the customers you've been called to serve. We want to make sure that as you are doing those things, you're not forgetting the most important part, which is making the noise, creating the demonstrations so that people will believe, so they have the ability to actually see your message, and so you can change their life. With that said, thank you guys so much, and I hope you go out and create your very first dramatic demonstration. Thanks, everybody.
All right, welcome back. Was that awesome or what?
It was so good.
Oh man,
I don't want to like pat ourselves on the back, but that was.
I'll do it.
Once again, like experience that again. It was one of my favorite times ever being on stage, which is awesome.
It's so fun. And actually, I would love to know. It's been fun to see what takeaways you guys have been having. We've been in the chat with you guys there, but let us know. What was the number one thing, if you just went and implemented a single thing from what you just learned about that would make you more cash? What is that thing? Go pull it up on the side.
Whenever I go to any event, I'm always looking for the thing. The reason why is my very first time I ever went to an event, I remember the time I had my Potato Gun DVD, and the guy on stage was talking, and he shared this one idea. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was split testing pages, and he was like, I split tested a red headline versus a blue headline, and I can't remember which one. One of them won by 30%. I was like, that's crazy. It was like this one little idea. I took it back, I went to my page, and I changed the color of my headline, and sure enough, my conversions went up by over 50%. I was like, that one idea gave me a 50% raise. It blew my mind. So for all, just that session alone, if you guys got one idea, that could literally, some of you guys could double, triple, quadruple your business from one idea. So what was that gold nugget that you found that's if I get nothing else, or that alone was worth the price of admission. Of course, it was free to be here, but the price of admission. So yeah, let us know, because that's if you miss the gold nugget, then what a shame. But also, it's you'll see other people's gold nuggets too. Maybe oh yeah, that would be really cool for you to do. So yeah, please blow up the comments with those.
Yeah, and honestly, you think about we shared a lot of rich dead guy stories, right? But then there's also a lot of live examples of how people are doing dramatic demonstrations today in their own business, and that's my favorite part about that speech. Where it's cool theory, but this is real applicable stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, after that first Funnel Hacking Live, we saw people go out there, and a lot of people trying things, some people not. A lot of questions coming back in. So when next year's Funnel Hacking Live came out, I was like, Steve, I had so much fun last time. Do you want to do that again? And you said, yes.
Yes.
And so how do we don't want to do the same presentation again. What's the next step? What's the next level? And I think the part that people struggle with is figuring out, it's the copy side thing. They understand conceptually, but how do you craft things right? And I remember you going back and forth prior to it. You talked about, we mentioned a little bit in the first presentation, but offer hooks, going deeper into that part of it, which is kind of what year number 2 was all about. You want to talk a little more about what it is and why?
Yeah. Honestly, the offer hooks piece, that part right there, the whole point is just to get somebody to say, tell me more, right? And so you're using the dramatic demonstration to push out that specific type of offer hook. Yeah. When you think about it, it's this isn't about launching just another offer. It's how can I launch a piece of copy that gets people drawn to me to say, tell me more? And that's what this next one's really about.
Yeah, it's so good too. Yeah. This is one of those things that it seems simple, but then when you walk through the whole process, it's just oh, this is amazing. So I'm pumped to rewatch this with you guys. But if we're gonna watch it again, we need your energy up. We need you to be excited. You stand up for a minute and just stretch it out, shake yourselves out. This is a dramatic demonstration. It's not sitting on your couch and relax day. It's about the energy we need to bring to the situation. Because again, right now you're in a room with 5,000 other funnel hackers talking about this stuff, and you're about to learn it for the very first time. So bring that energy to it, and it'll be so much more fun. It's gonna be awesome. So
this next one is my personal favorite one. I love this one. Guys, you're gonna love it.
All right, should we cue the film?
Let's do it. Yeah, should we do it? Let us know. Who's up? All right, cue the film. Let's do it.
Oh, what a great day today. I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is dramatic demonstrations. We're going to show you guys case studies, examples, everything that is going to help you guys to be able to run with it. In fact, this session, we're talking about dramatic demonstrations. The next session, we're talking about it. And tonight, Mr. Dan Kennedy is going to be talking about it as well. So you can tell that there's a big emphasis on this, and it works because we're talking about it a lot. In fact, I was just doing the stats behind the scenes. Since last time we all hung out at Funnel Hacking Live, our companies have done 12 dramatic demonstrations, resulting in like 35 to 40,000 people into continuity. This is how important it is. How many of you guys like to have 30 to 40,000 new people in your continuity by this time next year? Okay, so there you go. And maybe you get less, maybe you only get 10,000 people in continuity. How many of you guys with 10,000 new people in continuity completely change your life forever? What if you totally screw up, don't get 10,000, only get 1,000 new people in your continuity by this time next year? How many of you guys with 1,000 people paying you 50 to 100 grand, $100 a month, radically shift your life forever? Okay, so that's why this stuff is so important, okay? So the title of this presentation is The Hooks to Launch Your Dramatic Demonstrations and the Stories to Rewrite Their False Belief Patterns so they will sign up with you and stick with you, okay? Last year, we did a presentation called Dramatic Demonstrations, which was the first time we introduced this to the community. And this is basically part 2 of that presentation, which I'm really excited for. The spot this fits into the linchpin model is right here. Now, one thing I want to state before we go into this is after you've gotten your membership site built and you've got your Mifke funnel created, your Mifke funnel, you can launch that and you can start getting people to join your continuity right away. Right? I told you guys that the Mifke offer, the Mifke funnels we do initially is focused on warm traffic, right? Or excuse me, hot traffic, people who know you, like you. And so as soon as you get continuity Mifke, you can launch and start getting members coming in. Now, this is the next phase. We're going to start growing and scaling your continuity program. You want to be able to pay paid ads. You want to go to warm cat traffic and cold traffic. That's where these dramatic demonstrations kind of fit. And they fit right here inside the value ladder, or excuse me, inside the linchpin. Okay? Someone will register, they go down the Mifke and they join your continuity program. Okay? Now, to do this presentation, last year I had a special guest on stage to do this presentation with me, and it was probably the most fun hour I've ever had on the stage. And so when we were preparing version 2 of this presentation, of course, I wanted to bring him back. During last year's presentation, we actually gave P.T. Barnum a 2 Comma Club Award, which is amazing. And so he's back this year to do this presentation with me. So with that said, let's put our hands together for Mr. Steve Larsen.
Hello. Boom. How you guys doing?
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Dive on in.
Well, if we're going to dive right in, I got a question I want to start with you because obviously we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
We're working on a project together related to this. We're working on a book together, a bunch of really fun things. But for everyone who has never heard this concept in the audience, my first question is, Steve, what in the world is a dramatic demonstration?
Fantastic question. And I feel like this is a great place to answer that. How you guys doing? Excited to be here. Real fast, and this is not, I wasn't planning on doing this, but if you bootstrapped your way here, could you just stand for just 1 second? Round of applause to those people. A lot of you bootstrapped your way here. Surround those people. Okay? Definitely know what that takes. Excited you're here. Grateful you're here. Dramatic demonstrations are one of the biggest keys you guys can use to blowing up the linchpin. All right? And where this really all started for me was 2021. I was in the middle of a nerd sesh. Anyone been in a nerd sesh? Yeah. And you're kind of afraid to show people your nerdism. Yeah. I remember I was dropping something off at your house and I was like, nerd sesh. And you're like, ooh, that's cool, right? And we started diving on into this stuff. And that's the whiteboard. And I started going through and finding, I wonder if there's any patterns at all in P.T. Barnum's most famous marketing campaigns. Like step by step, if I was to compare every single story that P.T. Barnum, that I know of him, is there a pattern? And guess what? By the beard of Zeus, there was. Who wants to hear it? Let's go. All right, here we go. So, why P.T. Barnum first off? He, first off, is the second millionaire in America. He's the second 2 Comma Club Award winner. I don't know if we should mention the first. He's a drug dealer. All right, but he's the second. Woo, number 2. All right, and the reason that we study him so much, though, is actually because he sold a museum. And how often do you go to museums? Exactly. And he was the second millionaire, right? So he knows some stuff. It's very, very awesome. And that's why we gave him an honorary 2 Comic Cup award last year.
And can I ask you, how much were tickets to that museum?
What's that?
It wasn't a high ticket museum. How much were people paying for tickets to the museum?
I think it was like 5 to 15 cents back when money was worth something.
So $1 million is even a bigger deal back then.
Yeah. All right. No, so a very strong pattern did emerge, and I want to recap it in one slide. All right. Now, as we do this, though, I want to show you again, just recap, where a dramatic demonstration fits inside of your sales funnel. So you see on the right there, we have a sales funnel, hook, story, offer, right? Hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer. Dramatic demonstrations are everything pre-page 1. It's really what obviously you can still use a funnel to do that, but think of a dramatic demonstration as being before page 1. What are you doing out in the marketplace? Okay? Alrighty. And so here's the 5 steps. Now, I'm not going to go through any of the stories. Is it okay if I just give it to you straight? This is a quick recap so we can pick up where we left off last year. All right, so step number 1, you're going to get credibility for the offer, right? Before you go out and do anything with it, get credibility for it. I'll give some examples of that in a bit. Number 2, you're going to inform mass media or some big distribution channel that, hey, I got something coming. It's kind of like when we watch Russell with a phone going, we got something coming up. He just did it at the beginning of this. We're working on a secret project, right? What did he just do? He did step number 2, right? He just did step number 2. Step number 3, all right? Step number 3, then what he does is he always involves other influencers. P.T. Barnum never launched anything without involving other influencers, ever. And notice, these are the order that he launched things in. He has not yet talked to his own list. This is a big mistake a lot of people make. I got a new idea. Email, email, email. Right? He waited. He built a story around it by doing steps 1 through 3. And then on step 4, he finally launched the hook, launched the idea to his own list. Make sense? He always built it up first and then said, hey, by the way, list I can reach. Look, credibility. Look, I've kind of mentioned it to mass media. Look, here's other influencers involved. Now you have something big to bring to your own list. Yeah? Yeah, that's some gold right there, son. Okay? All right. Then step number 5, he would launch his hook back to that mass media. He'd go back to step number 2 and say, hey, remember I told you I was going to do that thing? I did that thing. And then he would launch. Okay? Alrighty. Now, real quick, who did a dramatic demonstration last year, or in the last year since we taught this? Stand up real quick. Yeah, so many of you. Look at that. So many of you. I've heard so many stories of you guys doing these dramatic demonstrations. It's so fun. It's awesome. Very cool. Now, again, raise your hand if you were here last year and saw what we talked about. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. If your hand's not up, get with someone who was. Yeah, now there's a networking opportunity. Get those notes, okay? Yeah? Sweet cherry pie. All right, here we go. Now, the big point, though, is to remember that P.T. Barnum launched hooks. He never launched his offer. That was a huge pattern that I saw. We don't launch offers. We don't launch funnels. What we're launching is a hook. Can we dive into that? That's the theme of round 2 here, okay? But... such a weirdo, all right? It's like, anyone else funny in their own head?
How's that going to prove past legal?
Yeah, I was like, such a goofball, right? But, all right, besides attention, before we dive into that, what else does a dramatic demonstration give you? I want to recap real fast on what those things are. A dramatic demonstration actually builds a list. So if you don't have a list, it's not a reason for you to not launch. You get a list while launching. Ooh. Anyone have any gold? Could you let go of it? Drop some gold. Okay. That's good right there. Okay. A dramatic demonstration builds the list while you're in action. Now, of course, if you have a list, of course, it's an asset, but don't think you need one in order to do a dramatic demonstration. For example, Kevin Hart spent 5 or 6 years doing stand-up comedy, and every night he would say, if you guys want more of my jokes, I love Kevin Hart. Any Kevin Hart fans? Oh, he's awesome, right? Okay. Now, he said, if you guys want more of my jokes, go to blah, blah, blah.com, and I'll give you more of put your email in, I'll give you more of my jokes. He did this for years before he was an actor. And then when he was an actor, he stood up and he said, Hollywood, I want you to pay me as an actor, but I want you to pay me again because I have a lot of reach, and I'll promote it to my own list. And he was an affiliate. He's the first actor to ever get paid a second time. Cool, right? but he built the list while doing the dramatic demonstration. Yeah? Dramatic demonstrations also make sure that your offer is interesting before you even do anything with it. All right? For example, Tony Robbins, he did 240 podcast interviews before one of his books was even out. And a lot of us as marketers will think to ourselves, you know what, that feels a little bit backwards. You know, I'm going to go and finish the product and then talk about it. Flip that. Other way around. Build pressure prior to. Yeah? Okay, dramatic demonstrations also ensure that your offer has quality and interest before you deliver it. For example, Tesla sold the world on their incredibly dumb-looking Cybertruck before it was even started. Come on, Elon, I want to love you. That's a truck. Period. All right. Now, dramatic demonstrations also are the way that you can recoup the money that it might have taken you to even launch the project. Classic example, Hollywood. Hollywood comes out, right, and they make especially if it's a big movie, it's Avengers, they can make a lot more money, but they make the money back that the project cost for them to put it out. All right. For example, 12 months before the movie comes out, you sit in a movie and it's like, coming next summer, right? It's not coming out for another year. They're just getting us ready, warming up mass distribution before we're even ready for it. It's not even ready, right? All right, then it's 1 month out, you see a new preview, maybe about the antagonist. Then 2 weeks out, they go out and they blitz YouTube. You can't go anywhere without seeing it. It's something about the movie coming out or whatever. And then a week before, they'll send all the actors out on tour. They have the formula down for launching, right? A product or a movie. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Come on now. You just made 2, maybe 3 socialists weep with that cheer. I want to get to 4 by the end. There we go. That's at least 5. All right. All right, check this out. Remember, the purpose of a dramatic demonstration is to spread your hook, not your offer. Okay? Who said that? Oh. Again, goofball. Anyway, that's what a dramatic demonstration is, Russell.
Very cool. Dramatic demonstrations are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, very cool. Could you tell us, though, what the best dramatic demonstrations are to get people to buy a Mifke?
That's a great question. So that's a question I got a lot. It's like, hey, you guys talk about dramatic demonstrations. What is it? How do I do it? What should I do next? And so, in my opinion, the 2 best types of dramatic demonstrations are free webinars and free challenges, right? Every webinar is a hook that I'm throwing out in the marketplace and seeing if I can get people to be interested. If they're interested, they come and they register for the thing, right? So if you look at the linchpin, this section right here, obviously, right there, dramatic demonstrations. For most of them, for me, they're usually a challenge or webinar, or some variation of that, right? They come, they register, and then as soon as they register on the thank you page, we give them a what? You guys have been talking about this for like 2 days now. On the thank you page, we give them a what? That's what I'm looking for, a Mifke. All right, so we give them a Mifke. Now, I want you guys to understand, like, for me in this business, the way the business model works, the actual goal of my dramatic demonstrations are a couple-fold, okay? Number 1, throwing out different hooks to see what people are going to respond to, okay? Sometimes I put out a hook and nobody responds to it. I'm like, okay, that's a bad idea, right? But if I put out a hook and they respond to it, then I know this is going to be a big dramatic demonstration. So the first thing, the reason why I'm doing this is I'm putting it out there in the world to get people to register. Right? Oh, I'm doing this new webinar, this new challenge, new whatever. They come and they register and they join my list. Yesterday we talked about the value of an email list, right? So step number 1 is getting people to register. Step number 2, the second reason I'm getting them to see the Mifke offer, right? I want them to join my continuity. And all said and done, the only business I'm in is in the continuity business. So I'm only doing this dramatic demonstration, challenge, or webinar. The only real purpose for me doing that is to get them to actually sign up for the Mifke. That's it. That's the only real purpose, okay? Number 3 then is people who have already gone through my continuity, people who are there and they see another dramatic demonstration, they actually stick longer. Okay, a lot of people are like, well, Russell, should I export the people on my list who already joined my continuity for my next dramatic demonstration? I'm like, no, I want them to see it again because they're going to go sign up for it. They watch the whole process, they get really excited, and then I sell them something like, I already own that. Right? They're so excited because they don't have to buy it. They already have it. Now they're stronger members because every single month, like we've done 12 dramatic demonstrations in the last 12 months. They keep seeing these things. They get resold on the fact of why they need to be part of your continuity or your membership, right? So it gets people to stick. Number 4 is at the end of the dramatic demonstration, there's an opportunity for you to sell your self-liquidating offer, your $1,000, $2,000 product, which covers all your ad costs, which is how we can blow up and make these dramatic demonstrations huge. Okay? And so in a challenge funnel, this is what it looks like. Somebody comes on the page, they register for the challenge. From there, we drop down to the thank you page, saying, thank you so much for registering for the challenge or the webinar or my dramatic demonstration, whatever you want to call it. And say, right now, I got a special offer for you. If you upgrade to VIP, we're going to give you something really cool, right? VIP normally costs $97 to be VIP. I'm going to give you that for free, plus my Mifke box, plus a whole bunch of other cool things when you sign up for a 14-day trial or 30-day trial of my continuity, right? That happens on the thank you page. And then from there, it's getting people in the continuity. Then if you're doing a challenge, if you're doing a 5-day challenge, the coolest thing is day number 1, you do your challenge, you're doing your cool training, and then from there you push them back to the VIP upgrade. And day number 2 and day number 3. Now for us, what we found when we did our challenges is as many people signed up on the thank you page for the Mifke, we doubled that number during the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pushing people in the VIP at the end of each day's training. It was crazy. And day 4, we transitioned to the actual self-liquidating offer. Okay? So this is how it works inside of a challenge funnel, very similar inside of a webinar funnel. I want to show you guys some examples of just this, the registration for a dramatic demonstration, hook we're throwing out there, and then the offer afterwards, okay? So again, like I said, we did 12. So I got 12 examples to show you guys real quick. So the first one here, this is the one we launched ClickFunnels 2.0 with, right? And notice, the big launch, it wasn't like, hey, come watch the ClickFunnels 2.0. That's not a hook. That's the offer, right? So I went backwards and I went back, what's the hook I can do? So the hook was the Your First Funnel Challenge. Who wants their very first funnel? That was the hook we threw out in the marketplace. People registered for this. And on the thank you page, we made them the thank you page Mifke offer. Okay? That's the first one. That one right there got 18,000 people to join ClickFunnels in a week. Which, by the way, new startup software company getting 18,000 people in a week is a lot of work. So
It's insane. It's amazing.
yeah, maybe don't do that in the future. Anyway, number 2.
You're saying this works.
Yeah, it worked too well. We were like, oh, this is crazy. Magnetic marketing. The next month we do it for magnetic marketing. They're registered. Boom, on the thank you page, we made them the Mifke. It was the same Mifke, the Dan Kennedy Mifke box we do, but then we also gave them VIP access to the challenge, and boom, we use that to add another 1,000 members to the continuity program there. Next one is we bought a new software company called Voomly, which is a video hosting platform, which, by the way, you guys should all be using it. It's cheaper than all the competitors and it works better. It's amazing. So I'm like, how do I launch a video hosting platform? It's a boring offer. What's the story? You can host videos. Like, it's not, I was like, I need a hook that I can throw out there. What's a hook that I can throw in the marketplace to get people excited? And it was called the video funnels. Like how you can do video funnels, like funnels of your actual video player. So that was the hook I took. I spent $40 million to buy this software company. And in the code, we found these video funnels, which basically your video player can turn into like a survey and do little funnels in it and play different videos depending on what people choose. It's really cool. So that was the hook I threw in the marketplace. People went crazy, signed up for it. And then on thank you page, it's like, hey, here's the software you need to be able to execute on this. Get a free trial. And boom, that's what we added, I think, 3,000 people that week to Voomly, to a brand new software platform. Okay. Pedro and I did the Challenge Secrets Challenge, which you guys all got a book gift from Pedro on your seats today, I think. Right? So thank you, Pedro, for that. Same thing. People register for the challenge. Thank you, Pedro. Like, hey, you get VIP for free, and I'm going to give you my challenge funnel when you join ClickFunnels trial. Okay. And we added again, I can't remember, 3,000 or 4,000 people to ClickFunnels to that challenge. And then we did it again in other businesses. Okay. This one, we had our PLR funnel. So we did a dramatic demonstration, this thing about PLR, boom, the offer. Then we did another one, for Lady Boss. We did the 5-day cake challenge, and then boom, put people in continuity. Then we did supplement secrets. We did a webinar, thank you page, boom, put people in continuity for our bone broth supplement. Then we did another one, Dan Kennedy, boom, people in thank you page into the other thing, right? Notice the pattern? Over and over. Throw a hook in the marketplace. Another hook. For our fitness business, Body Evolution became the hook we threw out there. Boom, push people into the continuity offer. Revenge Body was the female version of this. Boom, push people in continuity offer. Dan Henry just did a challenge with Dan Kennedy. We used Dan Henry as the hook. How to write like Dan Kennedy and Dan Henry. That was the hook. Boom, we crushed it. We put a ton of people in continuity from there as well. And then the other one, which was really fun, was on my birthday. I was like, it's my birthday. I should stay home today. And they're like, wait a minute. What if instead of that, we threw a dramatic demonstration and called it a birthday party? And so we said, hey, it's Russell's birthday. We're going to have a big birthday party. Come and register for the birthday party. Okay. It wasn't a challenge or a webinar. It was my birthday. And people registered. And on the thank you page, over 400 people joined ClickFunnels on my birthday.
That's
400 people.
Great present.
And this is happy birthday to me. And this is my warm list. People who have probably heard me talk about ClickFunnels every day for the last decade. And 417 or something people joined on my birthday. So dramatic demonstrations don't have to always be a challenge or a webinar. It could be your birthday. It could be Christmas. It could be New Year's. It could be the fact you woke up this morning and you found your capitalist picture. And we want to celebrate by getting people, right? The number one key you have to understand is the goal is I want to create some kind of dramatic demonstration someone's got to register for. So on the thank you page, I can show them the Mifke offer and I get them into continuity. Does that make sense? That's what these hooks are. You can throw them out very, very quickly, very rapidly. They don't always have to be these huge things. They can be as simple as your birthday, okay? So Steve, my next question is like, now that we know that this is how we use dramatic demonstrations, how do we figure out what's the right hook that's gonna get people to freak out and come and register and sign up?
That's a fantastic question. I wish I was prepared. I am. All right, but I have to say though, can I just pretend it's the 90s for a second and I can say what I mean? All right, I don't mean that offensively at all, but I just want to just show of hands real quick. Who thinks they have a traffic or leads problem? All right, behold, nay, you have a hook problem. Yeah? Too aggressive? Okay, traffic is a messaging problem. And that's what I want to talk about for a second here. And we're going to talk about how to actually create interesting and amazing hooks. Right now, I still get 500 to 1,000 unique opt-ins to my funnels every week. And I'm not an SEO guy. It's because of the style of hooks that we write that makes it interesting enough to come opt in and makes you talkable and shareable. So I'm going to dive on into that. But the first thing you have to understand with this is that, thank you. That was one little laugh there. That was funnier than you acted. All right, that was on you. Just kidding. All right, you have to understand though that a hook is still a story. Okay, it's not necessary. Stop thinking it's just a headline. It's still a story. Claude Hopkins, famous marketer in the 1800s, said this. He said, whatever claim you use to get attention, the advert should tell a story reasonably complete, or ad. He's not talking about the sales message. The ad should tell a story reasonably complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some hooks and some hook writing formulas. Okay. And so people ask, all right, well, how do I write a hook? Now, in short, let me pre-frame it this way, okay, that it's still with a story, but a different kind than the sales message. Too often people write a hook with their origin story and not with this kind I'm about to share. Sound good? Did I just hook you in? You want to hear it? It's real good. Okay. All right, now I call this the dramatic hook formula. If there's a dramatic demonstration, well, we need to match it with a dramatic hook to pull people in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you guys a bunch of hooks that I've written for clients over the last 4 years. And on the left is my scribbled notes I never planned on sharing from my iPad. And what I would do is I would interview them for about 2 or 3 hours and just fire a bunch of questions out and then write their hook with them right on the call. Okay, so I'm going to read these hooks and notice it's not the sales message. Okay? Are we in? Yeah, baby. Right. So this is a couple who, they sold a genealogy product to seniors who just went through a life crisis and realized that their time is getting a little limited. All right? Unique product, right? Unique customer. So I asked them a bunch of questions and then this is what I wrote. You've just been through a life crisis with only one thing on your mind, that you haven't told half or more of your stories. Okay. What would you do in the next 7 days to preserve your legacy for future generations? And then we got 7daylegacy.com. Okay. So I'm going to keep reading these. I'm not going to tell you the formula. What I want you to do is observe your emotions. And notice I'm not going to mince away from the emotional gut punch. Okay. I'm going to go right into it. And notice what I do with the domain name. When I have that, then I'll build the funnel. Right? That's the funnel now. The 7-day legacy. And also caveat, this is 4 years ago. I don't know if these URLs are even live still. Okay? Just let's stick with the hook things. Okay? Alrighty. So let me go to the next one. Alrighty. This was this is an amazing gentleman. I've kept all their names off too, but amazing gentleman, who helps people who've been diagnosed with diabetes later on in their life. Okay? And so I asked him a bunch of questions and, interviewed him for a while. And then, on the call I wrote, every diabetic checkup now feels like the doctor is just guessing using your lifestyle. First line out, not shying from the emotion. Okay. Before diabetes, you had energy for your family. You were fearless in your goals, but feeling that same way now has become more challenging. All right. How could you take control over your numbers, know more than your doctor, and live fearlessly again? And we got fearlessdiabetic.com. Okay, you feel that? One of the issues with funnel building is many people title their offer. Stop titling your stuff. Your URL is not a label. It's a hook. It's a great way to pull a hook in, right? Let me keep going. All right, this one was, all right, a little spicy. These are going to get a little heavy, all right? I don't want anyone to like get triggered by this stuff, but I want you to like really pay attention to how I am not mincing this, and this is not the sales message. All right, this is still a different thing. And when you think you start to see the pattern, just like raise your hand so I can get a little bead on the room, okay? So this gentleman helped men, Christian men who had picked up some not great habits in their marriage, and their wives had moved out then and again. Hardcore topic, right? Real product, right? Amazing thing they did. So this is what I wrote. You've enjoyed life as a Christian man, a father, and a leader in your career. Yet the marriage has felt off now for years. To cope with the discomfort, you've taken on a few bad and secret habits you're not proud of. She's noticed and removed herself from you, this time physically moving out. And you don't know when or if she's coming back. What steps could you take to feel like a man you could be proud of and win her back? And we got winbackyourwife.com. Okay? If your offer is good, do not be afraid of shaking the tree. Poke the bear. You find that pre-existing emotional charge and you kind of tap dance on it. It's not a bad thing if you can do what you say you can do. Russell called this the moral obligation to sell in Expert Secrets. You remember that chapter? If your stuff's good, don't apologize for it. No apologetic marketing. Okay? So here's the formula. This is how I define it, is the dramatic hook formula is the storyline your dream customer is or wants to be experiencing, which would make them ask to hear your sales message. I was a door-to-door sales guy for 2 summers. I was also a telemarketer. Sorry. And no, it's awesome. But we were not allowed to actually present the offer, which was the second part of our script, until we got them to ask one question. Guess what that question was? What's the price? How much is it? Exactly. How much is it? We weren't allowed to talk about the offer. We weren't allowed to share with them anything until we got them to say, tell me more, or something like that. And so what these hooks are designed to do is to get them to say, tell me more, and then you lead with your sales message. Make sense? Yeah, that's good right there. Oh. If I knew how to dance right now, I would. Right? Okay, but here's what it is. What we're going to do in these hooks is we're going to use the first paragraph to describe the dream customer's current state of mind, the emotions that they're going through. Number 2, we're going to walk through and talk about the things that they've probably already been buying or trying to get a better outcome in their life. You've been trying this. You've been doing this. Right? You've been seeing me say that. I'm going to read a bunch more in a second. I just want you to see the formula. Number 3, then, what we do is we tell it all in a story that has a change-based question at the end. What would you do in the next blank amount of time to get outcome? And this could be towards pleasure, it could be away from pain. I use it in both scenarios. You guys feeling like getting this a little bit? All right, this is good stuff. So I'm using those step 1 and 2 to fuel a change-based story and end it all in this little 3-paragraph story. All right, to show it in, I haven't told you any rich dead guy stories. I'm sorry. Here's the first one. Can I tell you a rich dead guy story?
Yeah.
All right. Claude Hopkins, rich dead guy. All right. If you didn't know this, brushing teeth in the early 1900s was not a thing. No one brushed their teeth. He actually kind of invented it. In 1910s, Pepsodent was the first tooth powder. And think about how blue of an ocean that is. Or yellow. Ugh. All right. Sorry. Too soon there, definitely. And so Pepsodent comes to him and says, hey, we're a brand new thing. We got to figure out how to get people to change their habits to start brushing their teeth. Brand new thing, right? And so here's the ads he used to do that. So he followed the steps. Step number 1, what we do is we're stating the emotions the dream customer is having in their mind. What is the dream customer having in their mind, right? Buying is emotional. That's not to say you can't use stats and numbers, totally, but don't skip the emotion. Number 2, he called out the frustrations that the dream customer has with their current options. Oh man, you've been experiencing this. Frustrating. Here's what I'm getting blocked at, right? And so here's a lot of the ads. And you can see who he's targeting. He's targeting men, women, children. He actually is targeting also soldiers up in the top right there. It's really interesting. And then step number 3, he told a change-based story. Sometimes they call it the dream scenario. And he created his hook was called the film. Gross. Yeah, everyone. Ugh. Ugh. But that's what he did. Everyone's like, ugh, that's something I can relate to. Yucky. The film. He's like, yeah, that film, you shouldn't have it on your teeth. And he created this thing called the film. And these are all the ads from the early 1900s targeting men, women, and these different people. That film shouldn't be there. Decay begins beneath this film on teeth. The film that discolors the whiteness in teeth. You actually can see some of the old ads on YouTube still about Pepsodent. I'm going to sing. I can't believe I'm going to do this. This is totally ad-lib. You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. You guys seeing this, though? I want to shoot through a lot more client examples that I've done in the past, because now you see the pattern. And what a lot of people have not done is written a hook. Some of you guys might have been playing this game for a while and realizing right now, I don't know that I actually have a hook. Anyone realizing that right now? I have an origin story. I have a sales message, and that's what I keep shooting around the market. And people are going, whoa, I didn't give you permission to talk to me about that. Well, the reason is because the origin story is not the one to be spread around. The hook story is totally different. Gets them to say, tell me more. I've got the film. Make sense? You got to create that idea. All right, let's go into some more examples here. All right, very touching one again. This is a relationship one. This gentleman helped women who are also struggling in their marriage as well. All right, so I'm not gonna lean too far into this one here, but all right. So I said, you're a powerful woman with queen-like life, but your marriage has grown cold, and you've pushed aside the true feelings you have about some resentment building, and you're guilty about that. Okay. You do what it takes to revive the spark, but are fearful that something dramatic might be needed to do it. Despite the signs, you want to see if you still have the potential to be lovers or just roommates. And he crushed it with this, areweroommates.com. Who's going to click on that? People saying, tell me more? That's not a label. That's not a title. He's not titling the offer. We're not leading with the offer to the market. We're not leading with the sales message of the offer. That's a hook. Who's going to click on that? Someone saying, now they're coming to you saying, tell me more. Tell me my sales. What's your sales? What do you do? Those are the best sellers, right? With those types of customers, we call those laydown sales. They're the easy golden ones, right? They're like, throw in your credit card. You get a paper cut from the credit card or a plastic cut, right? Should I keep going? A few more examples?
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right. This one is, this was a lady who helped women, I think, I'm getting the stories mixed up because I took the pictures off. This was, she helped businesses with organic traffic who once used ads a lot. Okay. So this is what I wrote. Publishing your face off taught you to speak, but you honestly were successful before that. So notice with this first line, I'm already going for someone who's a little more educated. Okay. But the cost of publishing and then ads seems too high for such a measurably small reward, even though you still believe it's the path. But you can't afford to wait a year for organic traffic to kick in. All right. Who already is like, oh, I'm kind of in that scenario right now, right? See? You see what I'm talking about? I want you to observe the internal emotions you're feeling right now because you're like, that's a hook. This isn't her origin story. This is not the perfect webinar. This isn't the sales message. A different story, right? You've read the writing on the wall with Facebook ads. Is there any? I have no idea. But by putting it there, someone goes, yeah, I've read the writing on the wall, right? No idea. And are already looking for a new way to reach more of your dream customers. What can you do in the next month to fix your ads and make it rain again? And we got didadsdie.com. Someone with a fearful, oh my gosh, they're going to go click on that. Here's another. I'm going to go faster. This was one positioned towards women who had just given birth and are having a hard time getting their bodies back. It's this self-image stuff going on, okay? It's an incredible couple that did this. So I wrote, of course, giving birth was magical, but it was also challenging. Honestly, though, there were really 2 new bodies born that day. Come on, that's some good copy. I'll pat myself on the back for that one. Right? You loved your pre-pregnant body, but also feel anger and sneaking guilt over the challenge it's been to reclaim your body. Looking in the mirror, you don't even like or recognize yourself. She's fueling these lines, by the way. I'm just assembling them. Okay. Silently, the greatest fear you have is losing your willpower to continue, and you end up giving in and inheriting your mom's post-birth body, genes, and genes. Oh, some spice on that one. All right. What would you do? This is part 3, right? change-based story right here. What would you do over the next 6 months to look, feeling better than you ever did before giving birth? And this is actually her idea, notyourmamasbody.com. They slayed, okay? This is, you see, are you guys getting it? Anyone seeing why they have a traffic problem? There's tons of traffic. That's not the issue. You have a messaging issue. All right? All right, let me shoot into this next piece here. I'm going to go quicker as well. Okay, yeah, this was a gentleman who helped people who have had a lot of health issues, but no doctor can seem to figure out what's going on. All right? Notice it's current. Notice we're not shying away from it. We're leaning right on. You've been experiencing unexplained health issues for quite some time now. Doctor after doctor can't quite figure out what's actually wrong with you. You've had a great career. He wanted to target people who have a business. And so we needed to put some qualifiers in to make sure the right person is clicking. You've had a great career, meaning if you didn't, you wouldn't click, and have done an okay job at not neglecting your self-care despite how busy you've been. But doctors almost seem to be throwing darts at a board named Western Medicine, guessing with your health. Right? What steps would you take to get your health back on track, feel better than you have your entire life? And he got, ismydoctorguessing.com. Oh my gosh. I was a little nervous on that one. I was like, can we even say this? I was like, okay. Lean in, baby. All righty. All right, a few more here. All right, and this is the one Russell was just talking about as well. This is Get Your Revenge Body. Anyone go to that one? GetYourRevengeBody.com? Yeah? Oh, okay. This is going to be a new audience. Might be some opt-ins here for you. There we go. All righty. This was targeted towards women who, in their late teens and 20s, felt the life of the party but have lost it. Emotional? Yeah. Tap dancing on it. Watch this. You've been called the life of the party, and it's a title full of memories for you. You know what it's like to catch a man's sneaking glance. Ooh. Yet while life is great, other things have understandably taken priority in your life. Right? Like a career, relationships, and maybe even a diagnosis. She told me one of the things is that her dream customer is someone who's had like a diagnosis, and they're almost kind of like scared of that, ashamed of it, right? Like throw it under the rug. Something's wrong with me. And so we put it in the hook. Even seeing pictures of yourself at a party now just leaves you secretly asking, is that what I look like? Great line she told us, so we're just assembling, right, in the formula. But though you've tried everything, sometimes it feels like your body's not working against you, and you're expected to accept the answer that it's just hormones, and it's the way it is, nothing you can do. What could you do in the next 90 days to get revenge on the career you wish you had? The doctor's diagnosis, a relationship that went bad, or simply lost time by only using your body. And we got GetYourRevengeBody.com. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. This is one that I did. Life beyond your first funnels turned out a bit different than you thought. For some reason, your business feels stuck at the current size, while others with less impressive offers seem to be selling more than you. Boom, right between the eyes. Oh, yeah. And I want you to notice that what I'm writing here, notice how it's fueling the hook. It fuels the story in the ads. It's creating a theme throughout the funnel. I now go create organic content with that very same thing. I'm going, and anytime I get interviewed, I'm steering it back to, guess what stories I'm starting to spread? It's hook stories. It doesn't matter. It helps you become more protected from all the platforms and the changes going on out there. This is still the same theme that I'll drop in Facebook, Instagram, organic, paid, right? You guys seeing that? Now, while there might be differences, obviously there are between each platform, this is where I'm getting the theme for the things that will then throw them into the funnel. Nicely. Alrighty. Let me keep going on this one. Why? You're not new anymore. You've had success before, but seem to work harder for less money. You've certainly noticed the major transition online too. Is there? I don't know. But the person thinking that's going to click on it. People buy differently now, demanding automation, customization, and speed at the exact same time. What could you do in the next 3 months to reclaim your seat at the market throne table? Yeah. Get more attention than your business could handle and make your launches great again. And I got makelaunchesgreatagain.com. And I dropped that out at a very spicy time in our history. Lost a few followers that day, but it worked. Okay. Last one I'll share with you guys, last piece here, is I want you to also know that this hook story that you're creating, it's about them, not you. Right? You're telling a story of what they're probably going through that makes them go, tell me more. And it can be a fictional scenario. I don't even think this is live anymore. I had 16,000 unique opt-ins to this, which is fascinating because I only launched it one time. When you have a really strong hook, it's much more shareable because people don't feel like they're spreading your offer for you. They don't want to do that. They're spreading my hook. So this is the hook of a fictional scenario. Last example here. This is a good one. This is one of the originals I wrote when I started figuring this out. This was back in 2020. I wrote, doctor walks in to deliver tough news and says that unless you stop working in 90 days from today, you will die. What would your final offer be, and how would you launch it so that it would fund the rest of your life? It was a tough hook, right? But yourfinaloffer.com is what I got. And this also became the questions that I asked all the people on the summit. Hey, could you answer the hook for us also? It's awesome. You guys seeing this? Picking up what I'm putting down? Sweet. All right, so to recap again, we're telling the story of the dream customer's mind, like their state right now, the emotions. What's going on for them? Don't lean away from that emotion. They want help. The right person is asking and looking. All right, then we're telling more of the scenario going on for the options that they have available to them now. You've been trying this. You're doing these things. This stuff is happening for you, and it's still not quite working out. Notice what's cool about this too is they could be buying from your competitor and still click on your thing because they're frustrated with some aspect of it. It's awesome. Best people come from my competition. It's amazing. Then we're wrapping it up in a change-based story with a question at the end. Okay. Now, on your chairs, do you guys have this handout? It's on your chairs. I know I'm going fast through this, but this little handout that's on your chairs will walk you through it a little bit more, and it'll walk you through in a little more detail with some prompts on like, oh, I first needed what dramatic demonstration that Russell shared should I even be doing? Number 2, right? Writes the first paragraph. So anyway, front and back on there. And yeah, that's a little gift there. So hopefully it helps there. You guys ready for the big point? Let's make it weird. I want you to remember this. Point with me. Ready for the big point? Come on, only 2 socialists weeped. Let's get to 3. Ready for the big point? Yeah, there we go. Here's the big point, which is that there are 2 kinds of messaging in hook story offer. Play ball with me. How does an offer get sold? Through a sales message. Ooh, interesting, Steve. Stick with me. Breaking some new ground there. Yeah. Okay. The sales message sells the offer, and that's all around the origin story. But you guys know, if you walk around and just start telling your origin story to people out on the street, what happens? Okay, cool. Glad it's working out for you. It's a little tiptoe back. So something has to sell the sales message, and it is the hook. It's a hook message, and it is not about you, and it is not the origin story. Okay? It is the customer's story, and you can still tell stats, and you still can say case studies, how I did blank without blank. Absolutely, but it is about their dream, their desire, not your story and not your offer. Yeah? That gets them to raise their hand and say, tell me more. Clicking fast into your dramatic demonstration in your funnel. Yeah? Remember again that you do not launch funnels or offers. What you're launching is hooks that bring them to the funnel, which then brings them to the offer. Yeah. Oh, Russell.
Yes.
I got a question.
Okay.
I talked my face off for a second.
That was awesome, though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. After we've hooked them with our dramatic demonstration, what's the best way to present the story and offer?
Oh, that's a great question.
I've been dying here.
Oh, and good news, I've got something prepared for that as well.
Are you serious?
This is really good.
This is really good.
Yes. Again, before I jump into this, I want you guys to understand the key to a good dramatic demonstration, like Steve's talking about, is throwing out these hooks. And sometimes, like, if you struggle with this, like, you should be throwing hooks out all the time. There's a reason why I do a podcast, I do Facebook Lives and Instagram and all these things, because I'm just trying hooks all the time to see what people respond to. Sometimes I do a podcast and I hear nothing. I'm like, that hook sucked. Other time I get like 400 of you guys to tag me, to message me, DM me. I'm like, okay, there's something there. I should go a little deeper, right? So you can test things out all the time. And then once you get response, you go deeper and deeper and deeper on those. So don't forget that, like, you're always testing hooks. Every conversation I'm having, I'm testing some kind of hook. Just see the response. And I'm like, okay, there's something there. Let's go deeper. Let's figure out what those things might be.
Yeah, people are like, how do you get like great hooks out? And they don't realize that, well, I just tested like 15 of them on my podcast on this, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, genius. No, we just found what sucked and stuck with the one that worked.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so next question is, you've hooked them. They came to your dramatic demonstration. They're registered. They signed up for your MIFKI. They're on your continuity. And now you have this opportunity to share with them, right? You have a webinar, a challenge, something you're going to do. And so the question is like, what's the best framework to use? Like, what do you actually tell people after they've come into your world? And so the framework is called the perfect webinar. You guys ever heard of it before? Okay, so I'm gonna draw something over here actually, because in the past, some people get confused by the perfect webinar. I want to simplify it so simple that any of you guys can use it because it's like literally the simplest thing in the world. So you guys cool if I simplify it for you for a minute? Okay, so this is what we understand. Right now, this is you, okay? And somewhere in your life, you went on a journey because you wanted something over here. You wanted to get this result, right? On top of the mountain, you had a goal. And so you went on this journey to go figure it out. And on this journey, my guess is you went on this path and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go, and you tried this way and then you got lost. And you're like, crap. So you went back here, you tried again, you got lost this way. And then you got lost here, and then you got lost here, and then you got lost and you were wandering forever, and then you come back, and then you tried again. But eventually, over trial and error, you got to the spot where it's like, holy cow, I figured out, I got the result. Okay? How many of you guys have experienced that in your business? Like you finally figured out the result. And you're freaking out because you're like, I know how to help people with the thing that I was struggling with because I went on this path and I have a very clear-cut path. And the thing that you have that's the most of value to you in the world is by going through this path, you've got a map. That's the key. The key to you selling anything after they come through the hook and they join you into your dramatic demonstration is understanding you have a map, and this map is giving them a very straight line all the way up to the result that they dream about. Okay? Now, most of your customers and clients who are coming to you, the very first time they come to you, it's not the first time they've tried to get this result. They've tried this and this. They've done the same thing you did. They've tried thing after thing after thing, and it has not worked for them yet. Okay, when we bought Lady Boss from Kaylin, I remember one thing she told me. She says, the average female in America goes on 8 diets a year. Okay, it wasn't like Lady Boss came out and like, oh my gosh, I never thought of losing weight. No, they've been trying all these things, they've been lost. They went through this, Kaylin got top, she has a map. She's like, I have a treasure map. I know how to get you the result. If you follow me, I will give you the treasure map and I'll get you to the result. You can ignore everything else and just focus on this map. Okay? So the map is the key. It's the biggest secret to the perfect webinar that people miss is that you have a map. Okay? And so if you look at like the stories I tell, when somebody comes and they register, now I have a chance to present to them either through a webinar or a challenge or a live or whatever your thing is. The biggest thing you're doing is you're showing them this map that you figured out. Okay? And the map is the thing that you're selling at the end, right? And so the perfect webinar is just basically taking that map and it's positioning it in a way that's most likely to get people to buy. Okay? So this is what the perfect webinar looks like right here. And you'll notice a couple sections. Number one at the top says, the map, origin story, and the new opportunity. And there's 3 secrets, secret 1, secret 2, secret 3, and then at the bottom there's a stack and the close. Okay, now we're not gonna spend, I can spend 12 days teaching the perfect webinar. We've done events for multi-day events, teach. I'm not gonna go that deep. I just wanna simplify this because I wanna show you guys that the perfect webinar is the key to running a successful dramatic demonstration to get somebody to buy at the end. Okay, so for example, let's say I'm doing an actual webinar. The perfect webinar fits really well in the webinar framework, right? The first 30 minutes of the webinar, I'm gonna talk about the map. I'm gonna tell them the origin story of the map. It's not your origin story. It's where so many people make a mistake. They start their presentation like, back in 1919, I was born, and they start telling their origin story.
Too far.
That's not the origin story, yeah. It's the origin story about how you discovered the map. Hey, I was just like you, and I tried this path and this path and this path, and then I figured it out, and I got the map, and it is amazing. So I tell them about the map. I say, look, at this map is the new opportunity. If you're like me, and you've tried, you got lost on 20 different paths, this is going to be the new opportunity to actually get you the result you're looking to. It will finally get you to the finish line. So the first 30 minutes of any of my presentations is that, okay? The next 15 minutes, I switch to the internal false belief, right? Next 15 minutes is the external false belief. I'll talk about what these are. Next 15 minutes is the stack and the close. And last 30 minutes is logical repitch. So the perfect webinar fits into a 90-minute, 2-hour webinar just like that, right? Now, when you go and do a dramatic demonstration that's like a 5-day challenge, everyone's like, what do I talk about on the challenge? We talk about the challenge is the exact same thing. All we do is instead of spending 30 minutes on map and origin story and 15 minutes each thing, it breaks down day 1 through 5, right? So day number 1, I tell them the origin story about how I figured out the map, and I show them the new opportunity of what this map actually is. Day number 2, I talk about the internal false beliefs. Day number 3, the external beliefs. Day number 4 is the stack and the close, and day number 5 is the logical repitch, okay? If you notice, whenever I sell anything, this is the only formula I use.
Me too.
Okay?
All the time.
All the time. I use it webinars, live events, like everywhere I go, this is what works. It works so good. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't read the Expert Secrets book, it's the thing that goes deep into this principle, but understand that's all it is. So I'm going to walk you guys through really quick, just kind of the pieces, how they fit together, right? So again, the perfect webinar, either the first 30 minutes of my webinar or day number 1 of my live event, I'm going through the origin story of the map and the new opportunity. Okay? So I'm telling the backstory. Here's how I discovered this thing. Here's the path I went through. Here's everything I do to learn it and earn it and bring this thing back down the mountain to give it to you. Right? And then you introduce like why this is a new opportunity. The reason why this is so cool, because this is new. You've tried all these other things, but this is what the new opportunity is. Okay? When I did the Funnel Hacks webinar, That's what this is, right? Like I tried to make my online a million different ways. I tried a bunch of things, and finally, like I tried eBay and Craigslist. I tried selling stuff on Amazon like that, and like the funnel was the thing that worked for me. And I got a map for you. So I explain that story. I tell my potato gun story, and I introduce my first framework. Let me show you how funnel hacking works, and I walk them through that process. Okay. Now, at the end of day one or the end of the first 30 minutes, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like I need that map." They believe in the map, right? They want the map so bad because they've seen the promised land. They saw that I got there. They want to know how to get there. But then what happens is then we get these false beliefs start bubbling up like, well, that's cool, but Russell did it because obviously he's so cool. And Steven did it because he's got that cool shirt and he's awesome, but it's not going to work for me. And all of a sudden, all of these fears start coming in, right? So again, that's number one. The next thing we do is move into secret number two, which is the false belief. So this is day number 2 of a challenge, or it's the next 15 minutes of a perfect webinar. Okay, and I'm going to address the internal beliefs of like, that's awesome, but I don't think I could actually do that.
Not good enough.
Right? And so, for example, what I would do in the ClickFunnels webinar, the Funnel Hacks webinar, this is where I would do a demo, the product demonstration. Like, let me show you how simple ClickFunnels is. And I show it, I drag, I drop, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, not only do I first believe that this map is the thing that will actually get me the promised land, now I believe that I can actually do it. Okay, so day number 2 of the challenge, if you decompress any of the challenges I've ever done, you'll notice day number 2 is all about the fact that like, you could do this. Let me show you how it works. And it works the same if I'm selling software as if I'm doing supplements. I'm showing you guys, here's the plan. Here's how supplements are going to work. You can take this every single day. It's going to work. And blah, blah, blah. Here's the food plan you work. And also like, oh, I could do that. That's awesome. Okay. But then the next little thing bubbles up in your head. And the next thing is like, well, this is cool. I do believe that this is the greatest map in the world. I do believe that I could actually do it. But, and their brain starts freaking out. Like, I got to blame somebody else. It's like, but I can't do it because of this reason. And they start pointing at everything else, right? In my world, in the entrepreneur world, the thing that people always freak out about is like, that's cool. Funnels are awesome. I believe I could actually build in ClickFunnels. I don't know how to get traffic, so I'm out. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't.
Usually the traffic one.
Right?
Yep.
So day number 3 of any of my challenges or the last 15 minutes in a webinar for me is always that, talking about traffic. Okay. In the Lady Boss webinar, what happens on this section right here is everyone's like, okay, I believe I can lose the weight with the Lady Boss process. I believe I can actually do it, but my spouse, they buy cookies, and my kids like to eat junk food, so it's probably not going to work because of them. They blame it on something else, so they're out. Right? So I got to show them how to make this a family plan that everybody can do, that everybody can enjoy, and can be a lot of fun. Right? And so that's the process. The perfect webinar is exactly what we use. Like we do all this stuff to get people on dramatic demonstration, and then we go through, and it's the same process every single time. Show them the map that you figured out, tell them the origin story about how you discovered that map, and then teach them that framework. Number 2, then help them break the internal false beliefs about how they can't do it. Number 3, help them break the external false beliefs about why they think that someone else is going to hold them back from success. And then you transition over to your offer, which is the first time you go and you ask somebody for money, right? And if they buy at the end of this, that's the self-liquidating offer. Whatever you make at this, again, if you remember the linchpin formula, this is not the money you keep. In the past, this was everybody's business. You'd sell at the end of your webinar, sell at the end of your challenge, and that was the money you thought was yours, okay? Whatever we sell at the end of this, that's Mark Zuckerberg's money. Or Larry and Sergey, or I guess Elon now if you're buying Twitter ads. I don't even know.
Fix your truck.
That's all their money, right? You fix the truck with the money I'm sending you. Because I'm going to take that money and I dump it back into ads. So the way that we do our dramatic demonstrations, you guys are fully aware. So we did 12 this year. And it was amazing, right? The best thing about it is we do this live dramatic demonstration. We spend all the time and the energy. We do it live. We go through the process. We do the 5 days or do the live webinar, whatever we do. And when it's done, and everything's finished, we look at the campaign and say, man, from this campaign, we got 5,000 people to register. From that, 500 people joined our continuity program, which is great. And we sold 30 grand on the webinar. And then we say, wait, that 30 grand is not our money. So we take the funnel, we evergreen it. So we rebuild it, we evergreen it. We take that 30 grand that we made for Zuckerberg, we give it back to him, and he sends more people into the dramatic demonstration. And guess what? It fuels the funnel. At the end of it, boom, Zuckerberg gets some more money. I grab it, I put it back in, and I keep doing this process over and over and over again. And when I'm doing that, all the money, all the people are falling to continuity, and I start getting compounding continuity. It starts growing and starts growing and starts growing. Those 12 dramatic demonstrations were awesome, but the fact that all 12 of those are actively running as evergreen funnels, driving people into my continuity programs every single day of the week, whether I'm awake, asleep, or whatever, is the best part about the dramatic demonstrations after they're done.
It's amazing.
So,
amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, some good stuff right there. Hashtag good crap. You know? It's awesome.
Okay, so I got a question for all you guys. How many of you guys are pretty excited about this concept of dramatic demonstrations? Like, holy crap, this could actually be the thing. Okay, should we make them commit to something?
I think you guys need to commit to something.
What should we make them commit to? It should be something big.
Something, yeah, this is going to be huge for your life, if that's okay.
You guys okay if we push it a little bit? Okay, how many of you guys will commit that sometime in the next 30 days, you will do your first dramatic demonstration. No matter how uncomfortable or how unprepared or how unready or how crappy your hook is, who's willing to try it at least once the next 30 days? Just raise your hands and stand up if you're willing to try it. Stand up if you try it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. We need some social proof. We need some guilting your friends into it. I promise you guys, if you start doing this, you'll get more attention on your offers, more people in your continuity. And like I said, even if you already have people in your continuity program, if they come and they re-register and go through your next dramatic demonstration, they get resold, re-excited, re-bought into the thing that you are creating, and they're more likely to stick. It'll change your business radically forever. And honestly, it's a whole bunch of fun.
It's honestly very fun, and you don't need to be PT Barnum. He was the first guy to bring an elephant to America, and sometimes we're like, I gotta bring something equal to an elephant, right, to pull off a dramatic demonstration. But it's any of those little tossing out the hooks and just going for it. You did monthly, right? You can do these quick and use that cash to go back and fuel the continuity and the Mifke and the linchpin.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to ruin our next speaker, but the next speakers are going to show you guys some really fun, exciting ways you can do it that aren't necessarily huge dramatic demonstrations, but can fuel all your business as well. So with that said, thank you guys so much. I had a lot of fun today. Did you have fun?
It was awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys again soon.
What's up? Welcome back. How was that? How was the dramatic demonstration part 2? Some of my favorite
So
ones.
good. I wonder what their favorite one or two. Should we have them vote?
Yeah. What was your favorite?
Okay, in the comments. Was number 1 the best? Number 2 the best? If you can't decide, say 3. If like all 3 were the best.
All 3.
So 1, 2, or 3, the options down below. They were both amazing. I'm going to vote 1 though, because I had so much fun on stage that time.
Love it.
It was amazing, but
Yeah.
they're all good. So 1, 2, or 3, let us know.
Yeah. And those little hook pieces, man, those are so much fun. Reading all those, I know that I read a lot on that, and but gosh, to me, that's like where I actually start brainstorming funnels and make funnel building easier.
I'm curious, how many guys would love to have Steve actually like write your offer hook for you?
Ooh.
Okay, he's done it twice for me now for 2 of our side businesses. It was so insanely cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna drop that bomb out there, and then we'll come back to it later.
Let me know.
So,
yeah, put a 2 if so. No. We want to invite you guys though too. We're doing a workshop. The next step that we're doing is writing the book, and so as part of that, we want to help everyone install this into their business even deeper and get the help that they need to actually go to build a dramatic demonstration.
yeah,
build the offer hook up.
we want to build some really amazing case studies for the book to show people how it works. Obviously, we've got tons of old dead guys testimony or success stories. We got tons of our own, and we got tons of clients as well. But we want to work with a group of people to like really help you implement, execute, so we can get some really good just results for the book as well.
Yeah.
I've told this story a little while ago, but like for me, the very first time I wrote a book, the .com Secrets book, I wrote the book, I hated it, I deleted it all. I did a 3-day live event, taught everything to this amazing group of people, and then from there I rewrote the book and it came out .com Secrets, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
Expert Secrets, the same thing. I wrote the whole book, I hated it, I deleted it all, and then I did a 3-day event, taught it all to a amazing group of people, and that group of people, like, it's insane, because they think that room was like, you know, Brandon, Caleb, Pohl, like all of our best webinar people in the world were in the room, and they went through Expert Secrets live with me, and then I went and blew it up, and then I wrote the book, and it was awesome. The Traffic Secrets, I was smart at that time. I didn't write the book first. I just did the event. It was amazing. And so with this book, we're really excited for it. And so that's what's happening. We're doing this 3-day event to teach it for the very first time. And just like everyone who learned the perfect webinar from Expert Secrets the very first time ahead of time, those people all had like a year advance on everybody else, and they blew it up, and they were making crazy money before we ever got to anything. So that's kind of the same thing here. If anyone wants to be in the front of the line and learn this directly from our feet and have us actually do it for you, that's what this workshop's about. That's coming up here really soon. And it's going to be amazing. You want to talk about what's going to be actually happening at it?
Yes. That's the kick. This is the catch, is that we want a small group. It's a small group on purpose so that we can go deep and actually help you actually really install this stuff. And yeah, I'm going to write an offer hook for you one-on-one. It takes me a couple hours. We'll do it one-on-one, record the whole thing. So you have this really key piece of copy for your business now.
What's crazy, like you could pay Steve $25,000. That's what it would cost for him to do just that piece. And you get that part for free because you're going to be in the room where it happens.
I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, so we have the 3-day workshop itself, which just Russell and I, we're not bringing other people in. It's a small group. 53 people is actually what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to, for 3 days, teach this process, but it's workshop style, which means we're definitely going to teach you a whole bunch, but then there'll be a time to stop and pause, and we'll watch you as you implement and walk around the room and figure out where you're, if you're getting stuck at all, right? Which I'm so psyched about that. Then afterwards, I'll reach back out and we'll start writing your offer hook together. As part of it, remember when we used to do like the old funnel hackathon events?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so fun. Yeah, it was the last time we did 3-day workshops.
It was the last time I've done a workshop in a small group setting. So it's been a long time. It's been, 4 or 5 years for me.
Man, a long time, yeah. Yeah, so for me, though, I noticed it was like the thing that got the most success the fastest for a lot of people especially though when we have them do a whole bunch of work ahead of time. So as part of this, then I'm also going to go and spot check your linchpin plan. So if you're like not feeling confident on it, or you want to get another set of eyes, on it, like that's going to be part of the prep work to coming to the workshop. And then when you get all these insights and exciting things happening, I'll go write your offer hook with you, but I don't want to just leave you hanging there either. I'm going to get back with each of you as well and give you guys an opportunity to just keep asking questions because I want to see how it landed, right? We're writing the book.
Yeah.
I don't want to delete the book and then go. I want to write the book the first time out. So.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the event. I'm excited to just be able to actually sit down and work with you guys. I'm going to bring in some really cool presentations I've never given before. I'm going to show you some unique ways to create dramatic demonstrations. We do dramatic demonstrations around all sorts of things. Like we do dramatic demonstrations to our affiliates who are going to promote something. We've done them to launch video, like YouTube videos, and to launch events, launch books. So I'm going to talk about those kind of things. I'm going to be showing you guys other ways, like just some really unique, simple ways to do these things that are amazing. We just recently did a dramatic demonstration where we sold more people into our continuity program in 15 minutes than we had done 8 months prior through paid ads alone. So if you want to learn how to do that to your continuity program, we're going to show you all that kind of stuff and just kind of give you all the goods because it's going to be the entire foundation for the book. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, if the concept in general has been a little bit like sticky or like, how does this work out? There's going to be not just time for you to do it. You're going to see tons of examples from lots of industries. So it'll be awesome.
So Steve, I really want to come to that event. If I want to go, where should I, how do I sign up for this event?
Yeah, if only there was a great URL I could send you to. Hey. So it's a dramatic demonstrations, plural, dramaticdemonstrations.com/53, the number 53.
Why 53?
Because there's only 53 seats. And actually, as I do this right now, there's a little less because we've already been selling it. So there's less than 53 seats. So
very cool.
Love to have you guys go there and love to have you in the room.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So I'm pumped to work with you guys directly. I've not done something like this in 4 or 5 years, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. He convinced me to do this, so I'm pumped for it. But it's about something so much fun and exciting, and like the results someone can get from this quickly is like the best part too. A lot of times when you're investing something like, I'm gonna invest this, like how fast can I make it back? And the reality is like one dramatic demonstration should get it back in like very, very quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, everything's pure profit. So it's like you have a chance first off to hang out with me and Steve, just one-on-one in a group that we never do this. And number two, it's like what you implement, what you learn, you can implement very, very quickly and get your money back. And then from there, you got the skill set, you got the hooks, you got offer, like all the stuff you have for the rest of your life. And so just one of those things that like the gift that keeps on giving for the rest of your life. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I think that the danger is someone goes and they kind of like half plan the dramatic demonstration. Like, I don't know if that actually worked. One solid, real, totally well thought through. And that's really all it takes to put something out.
Yeah.
So,
And then after you got it, then you do it every time you launch a new thing, new funnel, new whatever, and just keep it going. So, all right. So dramaticdemonstrations.com/53. I'm sure the link will probably be on the page right here. And that's the game plan.
So. Who's coming? Who wants to come? Come over to the chat. Let us know. Put 5-3 in the chat. We're excited to have you guys.
Very cool. All right.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. This has been great.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in Boise here in a couple weeks. Let's go.
Bye-bye.